is for us.
I, Christine Carla Kangaloo, President as aforesaid, do hereby appoint you, Sophia Choate, a senator, given under my hand and the seal of the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, at the office of the President, St. Anne's, the 16th day of September, 2025.
This nation has lost not only a former legislator, but a man of great moral standing, someone who was a voice of reason and a servant of the people in the truest sense. His passing, Mr. President, leaves a void.
Policy insights with practical know-how and, dare I say it, common sense, always anchored in the question, how does this serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago? Yet Senator Timal was far more than a tech.
As a leader,
national service, but really took no part or parcel in public accolade or sentiment. He was, in many senses, for me, the antithesis of a politician. At the family, he was renowned for having the ability to drown himself in news.
question
since March 2024. But it's a bit different to deliver the rhetoric. It's a bit different to muse about what can take place. It's those who take the hard decisions to bring what we muse about into reality, to achieve and have the impetus to drive us forward as a nation. That's where the difficulty lies, and that is what we have done. We have given the country a chance to compete, not only in the sporting terms, because this bill is laden with the opportunities to have competition culturally, economically, contribute to the economic diversification that we so talk about. We've heard for generations. I've heard about this since I was a kid. Oil booms after oil boom, let's diversify the economy. We are saying as a government, our Honorable Prime Minister is saying, okay, we'll attempt to diversify the economy, we'll get it done. We'll also have diversity in sport and culture. Why not? When you are faced with a situation where we are basically fish playing among big sharks, we have to use every advantage that we can not only construct, but every advantage that we can take to fruition. And that is what this government is trying to do by bringing this bill. Sporting excellence is crucial to us. And wondering, where are we going to be after 5, after 10 years? We have to be proactive in our national development. We have to be proactive in terms of a national impetus to push us forward. And this kind of amendment is that kind of impetus that we need at this point in time. The opposition members raised 3 major concerns. As I said before, and this was widely circulated in the public arena, as I said before, the mischief that will be found here will not be in the legislation as drafted, but will be in the scenarios that can be created around the legislation. So there is the 3 concerns that citizenship through grandparents will weaken identity.
Is very clear. Senator Naked touched upon it, but permit me to put it into context here. Section 12 of the Representation of the People's Act says, that's election rules. Section 12 says, subject to this act, a person is qualified to be an elector for an electoral district at a parliamentary election, a municipal council election, or a THA election, who on the qualifying date has resided in that electoral district for a period of at least 2 months preceding the qualifying date. Senator Nakit put that on record. My inquiries of the EBC demonstrate that, notwithstanding that provision, if there is a period of registration afoot and you are at the point of registering, you have obtained your citizenship, you have your passport, if that happens and you present yourself during a period of electoral registration, you will go on to the list of electors. Whether you will be disqualified after the investigation because of the 2-month inspection period is a different matter. There is still that opportunity. So Senator Nakit was correct that there are rules and regulations that treat with this in part. But, Mr. President, we are acutely aware that the law in continuing to speak is headed, as other Commonwealth territories have it, and non-Commonwealth, where citizens who are abroad are entitled to vote. And ostensibly, in anticipating where the law is going to go for electoral processes, it is incumbent upon us to at least explore what will happen with this law continuing to speak when the right to vote can be exercised from abroad. That's why I found the interesting reflection on Lebanon. In Lebanon, you have an interesting situation where a largely Muslim country in some senses, depending upon where you go, has a fair reflection of a Christian participation because of similar rules.
Trinidad and Tobago, as we all know,
were received. The comments were similar to that of the Minister of National Security that suggested amendment offends against the ad hominem principle and advised that the policy be amended. In comes a new government with an intelligent Attorney General, a legitimate senior counsel who got into law school quite easily based on his results without anybody having to beg and change the procedure. And immediately, amendments were made, adjustments were made, and this is not specifically for sport alone. So it's not ad hominem. There are other aspects to it that we could affect the brain drain that has been existing. We could encourage investment, bring back our doctors, our professionals, enhance our diaspora, and increase the talent pool from which Trinidad and Tobago could continue to be built. So therefore, we have gotten away from the ad hominem original intent, which was simply for sport and sport success, which would be expedient. So moving right along, but I forgive the Honorable Senator. He even went on to research that criminals in remand is vote and so on. I was very sure. I didn't even know. He's right, I didn't know that, but I understand why he would research that. So that in the future elections, if he happened to be there, he will get to vote. Sport is a powerful thing. Sport is so powerful, countries globally have policies of sport to improve and to create a geopolitical situation and a power position to let their ideology be known, to get and market their countries, to show their superiority, to encourage countries to take them seriously. Some examples of this would be back in the day, East Germany. East Germany, when the wall came down in 1989, the world found out that East Germany was so intent on showing the world that their socialist structure was superior, that they had a secret plan, as secret as their nuclear defense, to show the world their superiority in sport through enhancement from doping, steroid use across the board. Those who are older would remember 1972, Cornelia Ender, swimmer, coming and winning 7 gold medals, talking deeper than my voice, stronger than me, and beating an American swimmer called Shirley Babashoff, who ended up with 6 silver and 1 gold. When the truth came out, it was found that the German government at that time, the East German government, had a plan to identify talent, put coaches, inject steroids without the permission of the athletes, without the knowledge, in order to show the world that socialism was the way to go. If you're talking about the power of sport right here in Trinidad and Tobago, all of us could remember where we were if we are old enough. Some senators over there look too young to know. When Hazy Crawford got up with his lane one, with his white and red socks in 1976 in Montreal, Canada, and he defeated the greatest field in 100 history, winning gold from lane one and beating Harvey Grants, Don Quarry, the Russian champion Borsov. Trinidad and Tobago still celebrates that up to now.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And Robert Sinis, you know. And Robert said the senator will get a vote when the next elections come around and he in jail. Time check. It's 33 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. And you're listening to the Ground Report, viewing the Ground Report. The lines are open.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy, good morning, Andy. Andy, Orlando. Andy, I watched the whole debate yesterday. Well, not the whole thing, a lot of it. And I watched how, the opposition and the PLN debate. And they don't know what they're debating. They're confused. And especially comments of Wayne or whatever he named it. I mean, why do we have a Senate? Is they going to support anything in the government? Is there only any one of those senators going to support anything the government does? So why are we wasting time having debate, going through all of this, when we know we're not going to get help from them? It's not going to happen. Also, I think debate for an hour and then, okay, vote and let me move on, because they're not going to support nothing the government does. And our next thing is, Andy, I was listening to talk about Kanapuna. I love Kanapuna's contribution. I enjoy his contribution. But what I think he talks too long and he gets carried away and he tend to lose his loss for words. So what happened is he tend to say anything come out of his mouth, which is not suited for radio. So he needs to cut down his time when he making his contribution. Because I think he talks a little long and he lost a good word, correct words to put in a sentence and get confused. Anyhow, and the next thing is, Andrew, I think disclaimer. I think there's a new sheriff in town, I don't think his name is Andy Williams. All right, Andy. Talk to you later, my friend. Bye. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ground report. They the boss woman here. I don't know if boss man are wrong to hear me, but apparently like PTSC in Sunny Grande in cooperation with the PTSC in Sandu, right? You ain't getting no bus in Sandu, right? They used to send one, right? Sometime 4:30 you're getting one, right? 4 o'clock you're getting one, right? 1 week bus go run, then next 2 weeks no bus are running. 1 week bus go run, between them days and them, no bus go come, and that's how they're going. So it's a game now. So the problem I have with Sunny Grande, right? Well, I new to the Sunny Grande service, right? Even before school open, right? All they will send a bus for us when they will leave Grande 4 o'clock, and all they will send it for us, right? But apparently, when it have to go back to Sunny Grande, it's defective. This is second day I going through that. So all they making sure they send one tongue, but when to go back up the road, it's defective. All they doing people that. Miss Santa Cruz, Miss Woodbrook, come now. They need to at least talk to the minister to at least reach Grande. Or he can't be just focusing on Shogunas alone. Shogunas have no issue. He need to organize and at least reach the Sunny Grande depot and see what's happening down there. You can't be Sando, Shogunas come now. Grande, it's worse, it's bad, it's bad. It's really bad. Thank you.
Andy, pleasant good morning, my brother. I send a comparison for you with the US military and Venezuela military. And the comparison, you could put it up on the screen if you have time to show Trinidad and Tobago who don't have no information about the mighty power of the United States of America. And I also send a school fight for you where it appears like them children and them are listening and they're not learning. So I feel the Commissioner of Police will have to look into these matters more deeply and deal with this children and them more seriously, because you're going to school to learn and now they're starting to hit people with wood in the head. Look, the beating of a boy there and there's wood in his head and he's trying to fight for himself, but watch how they think, 2 against 1. So well, look into that please now. Right, brother? Blessed morning again.
Understood, but it's still a lot more than Venezuela still a more than us, eh? And the school fighter can't play it. Because you're seeing the faces. Hey, it's Woodboy. Hey, boy. Hey. Wow. I'll give it just a quick play. Ja! And you might, boy. Not good. A bad last here, and that is it for that little boy.
Hey, morning, Andy. Hey, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Hey, I just thinking about this year, how nobody talking about this guy, you know, the people in there, the poor divers in the pipeline, man, who get killed and who responsible, and all those drug and dealer thing linked up with Maduro. You need to find out to get the bottom of this thing, man. We need to find out who give them authorization, stop our search and rescue for these people. You know what I mean? They need to get it bottom. They need to get justice, man. Right? Poor guys that die inside there, suffocation that die inside there. By thy mother, you know, man? By his mother.
Andy, good morning again. What does I just tell you how ignorance cannot be educated? Right? Barack come to talk about don't beat up on Turnapuna. Right? The Turnapuna will learn. How long have they been telling Turnapuna about it? How long since they want Amar Station? When again he's going to learn? When? You know, Barack Boy really surprised me there this morning. So because he makes good contribution, that gave him the right to come and cast aspersion on people and let Telecommunications Authority come down on us. You remember now, it's the UNC government, they're under a microscope. And Andy just said it. And you come now to say, I say what I have to say in Barack Boy. That doesn't mean that we are still not friends. You coming now to justify what it is Turnapuna said? If he don't call, somebody else going to call. Yes, everybody was calling for him, but nobody was calling for the curse. Why all in not acknowledging that part of it? Why? If you tell your children not to do something and they continue doing it, won't you get angry? Won't you finally take steps to stop the wrongdoing? Come on, man, Barack Boy. You know better than that, man. And you have a good one.
Report. Good morning to everyone. And in this country, it is so corrupt that plenty of us don't even know how corrupt this country is. All them ministries and organizations, them business places and them, the places is so corrupt that you don't even know. And the corruption starts from the head, come all the way down to the bottom. Corruption in this country. Yes, Turnapuna said what is true, what happened in the police station in Barataria. They seize how much quantity of drugs, marijuana, and the station. Eventually, when they do here 20 how much package come and missing, and they put brick to replace it. Package it up real neat and nice, looking just like all the rest of packaging. And they can't detect it is bricks until they open it. So you see what it is? Right in the police station. There's only corruption. You go in an institution, you're going to do business, you pay money. When you pay money, they tell you yes. Then when the time comes, they're not giving you the thing they're giving you run around. And when they do check-in to further, it's because they never submit your documents. It's madness, craziness, and it's not now. They say the Iva actually in corruption. He and all of them encouraging it. The PNL system spoil the country. They spoil the country. Corruption in all them institutions and them. It's only corruption. Documents going missing. You drop your documents in certain places. When you go, thinking, well, okay, waiting to get answer. No answer. They're telling you how you never submit. And they know when you went and submit. People is too corrupt. Kamala them have plenty things to do, and the people and them still want to blame Kamala them for everything. Kamala ain't doing nothing, and she ain't doing nothing, and she ain't firing all the African and putting all the Indian and all kind of nonsense they hearing down here in the place. They're too corrupt. The wickedness, only wickedness down here, wickedness in this place. They have plenty work to do in the hand, yes, real work, I'm sorry, but plenty press they need, plenty press they need to be covered. And the PNM insists they fight them back, and then have the people on the ground who is PNM fighting for the PNM to come back because the corruption sweet. They know what they get in the hand, they know everything. It's only wickedness and corrupt. And I just want to let you know, if my voicemail ain't something to appropriate to put on the air, it's no problem.
Andy, good morning. Sometimes, the busman, we come down on the busman. But this morning, I'm at the terminus in Sando. I reach here 8:45, and I will not be getting a coach until 10 o'clock. Tell me something. This thing have to stop. Not because my party or who party is in power, but if something is wrong, it is wrong. 10 o'clock? How many drivers they have? How many buses they have? You tell me. 8:45 till 10 o'clock? Come on.
Andy Williams, Lennox with Mickie, it's me again. This morning at the San Fernando bus terminal, there was no 6 o'clock Erin, Shobonas, Port of Spain Limited stop, and Princestown, because the PTSC is just taking all of their buses now and sending them to UE, the University of the West Indies. I don't know if these people care about that other commuters have to go to work too at various destinations. Right now the north-south route is basically non-existent. There's no $6 bus coming timely. It's very scarce and irregular. On Mondays to Fridays during the afternoons there's nothing. You have to wait until 7:30 in the night, from 12 to about 7:30 in the night to get a bus to go home, or unless you take the coach. But there are only 5 functional coaches working between San Fernando and Port of Spain. They take $10, and you have to wait about 2.5 hours to get on a coach. Sometimes when you go in the room, right, the room is filled, the security putting you back out and telling you, well, come back later. I don't know what time is come back later. When you ask the information agents in the PTSC in Port of Spain for San Fernando bus to come back, they say, well, they don't know. San Fernando not putting out buses to go Port of Spain again. I want to tell Mr. Zakur, PTSC doesn't belong to UE students. You have other people that need to reach the work on time. You know how much money it is to pay by from a car from San Fernando to Port of Spain is $30 one way. $30 one way. If you go to the San Fernando bus terminal and there are no buses working because everything is going UE now, and you want to go to the top of High Street to get a Shogunas taxi, to go Shogunas for example, because I see the Shogunas bus giving trouble now, right? You have to pay $6 just to reach the top of High Street. So I want him to know, I don't know if he could send this voice note to him, but he is encouraging a lot of nonsense now. Because when you go in the back of the terminal, you just see that set of buses mark University of the West Indies, right? And as a result, no bus to go Port of Spain, Point 14, Shogunas, Faizabad, Princestown, Guayari, nowhere, right? And the point is, yes, PTSC is making money from the UE students, but other people need to have places that they need to go. Right? Public transportation in this country is extremely woeful. If you cannot send buses for people, stop selling tickets. Simple as that. Every single bus in the terminal is for UE students, and I don't understand this foolishness. Right, Mr. Zakur, I'm talking to you directly, eh? People in the San Fernando bus terminal are fed up of you, eh? Not me, eh? I just tell you what people are saying. You're not performing at all. You're not even updating the public as to when they will get a bus.
caller. Morning.
Andy, good morning, dear. Good morning to you, Lennox, Mikey, Newbie, and to everybody. How are you sounding so this morning?
I remember
Like you're under the weather?
Remember I say this the other day I ain't feeling too hot, but like it. I was fighting it, but like it tonight.
And you see why it is I keep sending you text messages, calm down, calm down. You see why, Andy? Anyway, calm down. But I am not calm this morning. But I want to clear the air on something, Andy, if you will allow me. Right? If you will allow me, I want to clear the air on something. First to begin, I was listening to your voice note. You forget to put up the notice that you was doing voice notes, right? Okay. I want to tell the lady who called about the Sandy Grande, but she calling on Miss Santa Cruz and Miss Woodbrook. What happened to you, lady? You can't get some people who traveling on the Sandy Grande bus to protest the bus. You can't do it. You depending on Santa Cruz and Woodbrook and others to raise issues for you. Andy, how many times up to last week I raised the issue about all the Sandy Grande bus and everything, because Sandy Grande bus don't pick up anybody from the terminus and drop them in the Quasi, although the Quasi is a hub, right? They don't do it. How many times I complain about that? So all they have to sit down and depend on everybody to do everything for all, yeah? Just like Busman, he says, not he against Zakur, you know. It's everybody else in the terminus against Zakur. Because we shopping, we didn't hear anything. Right? We know what it is he have against Zakur. We know that. But if all they get together, this is not the first time these incidents are happening with the buses. It has been going on for years. I stopped traveling by the buses a few years now because of the same nonsense. So I know it's not now it's going on. All they do make it look as though it's going on now. All they feel now, all they want to put pressure on this government to bring in the buses yesterday, on the 29th of April. They came into office on the 28th, bring it on the 29th. No, it don't work so. It don't work so. If all they get together and protest the buses, then only will get the attention of those in authority, and it is an administrative problem. Clearly, it is an administrative problem. Mr. Nunes came here this week, and Mr. Nunes gave an explanation, but yet still you're hearing anything about the bus again. But only sit down there and only come on the program, right? Not everybody does listen to the program, but if all you go out there and protest, go down in City Gate, wherever all have to go and protest. Get a few people who traveling on the buses. I know that Sandy Grande bus is a big problem. We have experienced it. Right? It's all you have to help all yourself. We can help all you have to help all yourself too. Now, let me deal with my problem now. I want to tell Rajan, and if Rajan not there this morning, maybe somebody will give him the message. I don't own the ground report. Right? I am a stakeholder in the ground report. And when the ground report go through, just like how TC and Heavy program went through, but they're coming back sometime next week, but they're going from 7:30 night to 9:30, right? Let me get that out of the way. When this program go through, what are we going to do? That was ignorance to say that I feel I own the ground report. I am a stakeholder. I have been here with the ground report from its inception. I was the one, together with others, all in the night with the roving microphone. Where were you? So if I find something is going wrong, it is my duty as a stakeholder to talk about it. Andy, am I right or am I wrong?
Absolutely
you correct
right.
me, you know.
Absolutely right.
You correct me.
No, absolutely right.
Now,
Absolutely
I want
right.
to tell...
You see, them not a wrong
Yes.
to when bosses only telling you about that, send them letter and the license and the bosses and them telling you ban this one and ban that one and forget about that and it making sense. Them not a wrong to be hearing owners of their
They're not
a
wrong,
TV station
right? They
or
don't
radio.
care. Not that they're not wrong, you know, Andy, because they don't care. They have selective memory. They have selective memory, right? When this program go through, TCN have you not there yet. Wall Street is about, I'm calling programs that are pro-government, right? Wall Street is there a few days a week. Yes, we can see all what we want. Where else we going, Andy? Because any other PNM program, they're going to cut us off. They're not going to listen to what it is we have to say, right? And it is our duty to support. Just as we will protect your home, it is our duty to protect this program. Now, the next one I may deal with, Jill Monroe. I want to tell Jill Monroe here this morning, when I spoke about Inshan, right? You made reference to it yesterday, so don't deny. When I spoke about Inshan, not one time did I curse Inshan, right? And Andy, did you ever hear me? Now, she didn't say that, but the next drunk saying it on all the other radio stations that I wish Inshan dead. Did you ever hear me wish Inshan dead? Or did I say I have no sympathy for him, for what it is he did to me, Mrs. Pasabi says, Khadija Amin, and other women? I never one day wish him bad. That is not for me to do. You hear? But they're running them out. And I never curse Inshan, so I don't know where Jill Monroe getting that from. That I was allowed to say what I wanted to say about Inshan. It is a totally different scenario to what Turnapuna is doing, right? Turnapuna comes here, and Andy, I'm going to say it, right? He comes here and he talk about political condom. He talk about who's sucking what like a lollipop. For a big man, that is your language. And then we must talk about it when Tat right about it. You're always punctuating your contribution with cuss words. That is the problem we have with him. And really length of time that he takes. Why was he on side yesterday? Why he didn't take the length of time so? How much time Mama used to have to cut him off? And other radio stations. So, Jill Monroe, you're being very disingenuous when you said that I talk about Inshan. Yes, but I never cuss Inshan. I never said the things that Turnapuna is be saying. You hear? For a big man, he's very disrespectful. And Barack, I'm not going to lie to you. I was really, really disappointed. He's my friend, you know. He's still my friend. But I was very disappointed. And when you say give Turnapuna a chance, Turnapuna is not a 5-year-old. He's over 50 years. That every time you have to be reminding a big man, keep it clean. Keep it clean for us not to get in trouble with any of the authority. What is so hard in that to understand? What is so hard? But you know what amazes me, Andy? They're ready to condemn the school children that fighting and carrying on things. But when you correct Turnapuna for coming here and cussing and all the nasty remarks he just be using, all of them want to get vexed. I say that is sanctimonious hypocrisy. That is sancta and situational ethics. You don't do that. And Andy, let me tell you something. I am going to continue to stand up and fight for what is right for this program. I am going to do it because I was part of the stakeholders movement. I still am, right? And I helped build this program, and I don't want to see it go down the drain. I don't want to see it go down the drain, right? And all we ask is for it to be respectful. And it's really, except for when the PNMites and they want to call and cuss and hang up the phone, like what the woman was doing before the elections. Where she going? I don't know, the woman from Maloney, right? Why does everybody else could talk good? Why does everybody else could say something? And Mike and Andy, who want to say I'm lying about what you used to talk about the political condom? They could say what they want. Because Mickie had to call him and talk to him about it. To keep it clean. Keep it clean. Stop using slang. I would call it slangs like that. I don't lie on nobody, you know, Andy. I don't lie because I have no reasons to lie on nobody. But you see, when they come after me, that is when I will go after them. Because all I am trying to do, I guess, is because I'm a mother. Up to now, I just correct my children. And they're big young men. One is a father. Right? They're big young men, working for their own money, have their own home and everything. And I will still correct them. So I guess it is in me that when I hear something wrong, I will correct it. And who want to come after me now, will they come? The gate's wide open. Come. Because I know very well, I could defend myself.
And I wouldn't put up the last warning that Gael had gotten. I wouldn't put it up because I ain't going to nobody pull it and put it out there. But what I will do is, I will send it for Lennox Smith, and Lennox go just read out the last warning, and he will be able to read out all the words that they were warning about. And when you hear the words, is the only person that's be using those words is Mr. Tunapuna. So I will let Lennox
exactly,
do that.
Andy. So I don't know what is Jill Monroe's problem. What is Jill Monroe's problem that we corrected Tunapuna? Apparently she don't have children. When I always say, Andy, you correct people not because you hate them, you know, but because you care about them. You correct them. And he's a big man. Look, I don't know if it's Orlando he's be calling from. Look up the years the man had to talk about it. And Andy, when we go over there, it will be a different kettle of fish. It will be a different kettle of fish. And not because it's the government owned that you can do wrong things and get away with it. It is going to reflect on us. It is going to reflect on us. And how long have we been telling them? Even with a Maro station, look how long only leave a Maro station. When I used to be on 106, now the only reason I don't be on 106 is because I don't pick it up. Makes no sense calling a station where you don't know what they're talking about, right? They had to give him a 2 week, how many times they give him a 2 weeks warning, a 2 weeks ban, sorry. Because of the same cussing. No, that can never ever be right. Because if we don't like it for our children, why should we like it otherwise? And it has nothing to do with hating on Mr. Tunapuna. It has nothing to do with that. You hear? And when you want to come and talk us at a nonsense, right? Or they continue with it and see how far it will get us. But as I started up here this morning and saying, I am going to fight with all my might to keep our ground report on air. And who don't like it, who want to hate on Santa Cruz, let them go right ahead as water on a duck back. Andy, I'll call you back later to discuss other topics, right? I wanted to clear the air on this morning. Thank you so much for listening to me. And Andy, calm down.
Yes,
Take it easy, right? Because
I will. Some of you say, Andy, like you get you with 91.1, or you get you. There's no, we ain't get you nothing. We just playing the way for when we do go back mainstream to make sure that nothing we tail, right? As Lennox come on, Lennox organized to send the last letter that was given to we got to get 3. Gael had gotten 3 letters from that, and shocking enough, all 3 letters that is condemning words of callers. The words that is being used comes from our goodly friend, Mr. Tunapuna. So it's not that anybody is on him, right? Nobody's not on him. We just want to make sure, as you all say, prepare for the program to grow. If we continue with that, we have to be sending messages, especially if we're on a mainstream. Well, the growth that we're looking for the ground report and the bang that you all wanted out there, fighting up with mainstream media to get our government message out there, will be even harder, because it means you just have to continue to what? Fight up on this platform, just social media. And we need to expand. And the expansion is close, right there. It's just a matter of time. The expansion will be there. But you all just need to understand. Oh boy, so let me do thing on that again there. Let me continue otherwise. We're not feeling 100 anyhow. Go ahead, caller morning.
Pleasant morning to you, Andy Williams.
Morning to you, sir.
Tabakit here. Let me say pleasant morning to Lennox and Andy. Mr. Williams, the Pitbull, let me say something at 2 cents about this PTSC. This PTSC problem, which you know I just be traveling length and breadth throughout Trinidad. So I want to say something here this morning. The problem in PTSC is management within the structure inside PTSC and not the minister and not the government. And let me repeat this. The problem that is plaguing PTSC is the in-house structure management. And I think what the government will have to do is to do a complete overhaul with the management structure in-house in PTSC. If you go there on a daily basis, hourly, minutes and seconds, you will realize the managers, the people there, they don't know what they're doing. The structure in PTSC, the people who dispatch the bus and all these people, there's where the problem is. And Miss Santa Cruz is right. That problem been plaguing us for the longest while. That just didn't start this month or 3 months ago. And people cannot be disingenuous with such issue. Let me repeat, Andy. The problem with PTSC, the bus service, you see that in-house management that dispatch the bus and all these things, there is where the problem is. An deliberate attempt to make the government look good, look bad, so to speak. Let me repeat. I don't know if it's a deliberate attempt by somebody inside the management to make the minister look bad. I am saying this is where they have to now go. And you see the dispatchers, that in-house structure, I think what they would have to do is break up that, put new people, not to fire them, transfer them, remove the head. Because if people paying money and you cannot get a proper, reliable bus service, what it means to say is not the minister, but the in-house, the management, dispatchers. Those are the people that is not running the system good and not the minister.
Oh, shucks. We get where we lost city. Lennox Smith, I send the thing to your WhatsApp. You can read what you think you understand because we don't want to expose too much. But I send it to you. But a pleasant good morning to you, Lennox Smith. What's on your front burner? But just read the last letter that we had gotten. And just to show that is...
Let me just reciprocate. Pleasant good morning to you as well, my friend. And of course, all online, wherever you are in the world, and of course in Trinidad, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and of course, as I said, wherever you are in the world, and particularly in the region. Yes, I just whilst I was speaking, I was in the process of opening it, and I have opened it. Yes, and I see, of course, the headlines is to Mr. First of all, to whom it was addressed, well, to Mr. Errol Fabian. You may be surprised or not surprised, depending on your perspective and knowing who we are, that we were being favored by Gael, of course, doing us a favor. So it means, therefore, favor here would mean no cost to us, but doing it as far as that station was concerned, that television station, as a favor to the population through our medium. So I want to make it clear. And therefore, to absorb some kind of bad repetition or to reduce the efficaciousness of the product or the institution that have accommodated us in such a generous and magnanimous way, clearly no businessman, let's face it, that worth the salt would tolerate that indefinitely at least. And here we are. So this letter, this last one, I understand it to be dated the 28th of August, 2025. Addressed to the director, Mr. Errol Fabian. As I say, he's an altruist, he's a humanitarian, he's a community and an NGO, should I say, propagator, but certainly there's a limit if his livelihood and his life's work is being jeopardized, and especially without any kind of financial benefit. And while of course I know that he is not of that type, but certainly one has to factor that into the consideration. So, dear Mr. Fabian, content of the ground report program broadcast on Gael TV. Let me repeat that headline. Content of the ground report program broadcast on Gael TV. As indicated in our correspondence to you dated the 28th of May, so that was before this one that would have been in August, so several months have elapsed or expired before this other one came. The authority continues to monitor content on the ground report broadcast on Gael TV. Well, one could have said that we might have been politically red flagged, as the case may be, but that, whether that is so or not, the fact of the matter is that if it is, there is cause for them to send a precautionary letter to the station about content material on the ground report. Clearly, must be of concern to the owners of the station. Once again, we have made note of the distasteful language being utilized, and I had to pause there to see whether or not it was disaster or distasteful, because those are very strong words. Distasteful language being utilized by both hosts and contributors to the program. The authority makes a specific reference to the following broadcast. The 9th of June 2025, at approximately 9:19 a.m., a caller made the statement, the ministry send a fund, and they put a sort of asterisk and then fund, THUND, from student services, and at approximately 9:23 a.m., the caller stated, throw your backside and is cut asterisk RSE, so you interpret that down the line. Well, I suppose it's cut down the line. Right, so that is the nature of the utterances that are being complained about. And then on the 12th of June 2025, from approximately 7:47 a.m. and 8:40 a.m., there were statements aired by contributors to the program, such as Get All Your B asterisk MBOOCL, and of course the two asterisks coming after that. So they don't even want to repeat the word in writing here as well. Out of there, and to the UNC supporters, only talking a bag of, well, I can interpret this one very easily, a bag of shit, right? SH, and they put an asterisk T, so that you know you have to subject the rest to interpretation. 27th of June 2025, at approximately 7:38 a.m., a caller made the statement, if who live and who dead, he ain't give a shit. Right? SH, he put an asterisk, of course, the T, so they didn't put the raw word, but that is what the statement is being that word is being complained about by TAT. 30th of June 2025, at approximately 7:46 a.m., a caller made the statement, these Well, this one is very easy to interpret as well, bitches. But of course, they put a B and then they put an asterisk, not to make it total and obvious. But bitches is obviously the word that take the land from people to build the Point Fortin highway. And of course, I could click. I think I could reference who would have said that. 28, and you two are out there as well. The 28th of July 2025 at approximately 7 a.m. when we went through 9 years of Massa days. You come here and talk that SHIT. All right? So those are the words that are being complained of, and we have been cautioning out of an abundance of concern and to try to put our house in order. And our here means both the callers and ourselves here, because of course, whilst the complaints might have been on both sides of the divide, certainly on this occasion, they were referring specifically, the last communication would have been about callers making these statements. And I think you know who you are, and one expects that the necessary adjustments will be made. The letter continues, the authority is of the view that the language used in these broadcasts can be considered as profane and inappropriate for broadcasts on the public airwaves, especially noting that there would likely to be children listening at that time. These acts can be considered as a breach of your concession. So the threat is very comprehensive, far-reaching if they are implemented, and therefore jeopardizes the license of the concessionaire, the receiver of the concession provided by the TAT organization responsible for, of course, these matters. We advise that in instance where the station receiving pre-recorded material such as voice notes, so they have been monitoring the host and or station properly review and sanitize these recordings before they are broadcast. So there are recommendations as to how to treat with it, but you know, we take things impromptu, we take it off the cuffs, because we have to condense maybe 24 hours work into 3 hours or 4 hours, as the case may be. When Gail was around, that was virtually humanly impossible. Of course, unless you want to deploy additional resources, human, that is to say, somebody to fact check or to check it first before, of course, it is passed on to Andy in the main studio in order to air. And of course, that in itself presents both financial, logistical, and human resource constraint to us, as you know. So the best way to solve it, let the callers do the right thing, and therefore everybody's problem is solved. Because if we have to engage in financial expenditure, additional financial expenditure in human intervention to vet these voicemails, and then you have the other costs, the natural costs like electricity, internet service, etc. You will understand that we are simply not in that position, and it's best we close up shop. That is the bottom line. We have as the options in this particular matter. So understand, Andy or myself or Mr. Santa Cruz are not talking in slight or superficially or in any way attempting to target anyone, but it is the pure and unadulterated truth, facts of the authority that is responsible for having all of the entities on air, particularly in the local context, and having to give them concessions or license, they have concerns. And therefore, it will be naive and foolish of us to stay here, or indeed persons who say they like us and they want to make sure that their cup of tea on mornings, as many of them would say, is not terminated almost, if not permanently, that the adaptation and the understanding be properly assimilated, taken in, and executed in the way that you present your material, in spite of the fact that you may be angry or emotions may come across because of a particular incident. We understand that, but it can be couched in language that will not create a permanent termination of the program itself, potentially at least.
Yes,
So it
yes.
continues. The authority also advises that the host exercise caution and intervene once a caller utilizes language of an offensive or a derogatory nature. In that regard, Gael TV should acquire the requisite delay devices to avoid such instances from occurring in the future. So you will understand that the management of Gael not getting any fiscal or financial gains from accommodating us gratis, and yet still have to find resources to provide as that recommended, to acquire the requisite delay devices, so it means that therefore there is a cost involved. I don't think they would have that readily available, otherwise they might have deployed it, but or give it to us, or give it to main studio in order for that to be deployed. So you understand the complexity and the far-reaching consequences of simply using a word like shit, using and the other words that they have identified that
Don't
is
give a shit,
inhospitable.
like don't give a shit, bitches.
That's right, bitches, etc.
Throw your backside, throw your backside, right?
Out and all of that, yes,
and
yes.
right?
Yeah, and of course, you know yourselves, as I said, we just merely put in the nuts and bolts to what we introduced yesterday and the days before, as we prepare ourselves to, I would say, to greater heights. We advise that in instances where the station receives pre-recorded material, right, such notes, right, no, I said that already. Finally, the letter is saying, we take this opportunity to refer to our letter dated the 28th of May, a previous one, wherein the authority advised you of warnings that had been issued to the ground report in the past regarding the offensive nature of the content broadcast on the program. Of course, one can interpret it to mean that the authority would have had some kind of hidden agenda, which of course would have become very obvious if and when the letter would have been written, let's say, during the course of the last administration. But remember, this letter was written in August, so it means therefore the new administration would have been already entrenched and in place. And here it is. Why is it the board might not have been changed as yet? The fact of the matter is that it was within the orbit or the sphere of this administration being in government. So
nice.
We got it on the last one, and we got it here as well. And of course,
somebody
finally,
said
very final.
Oh, because somebody said,
please note.
Somebody said, Lennox, that a disclaimer will solve those problems. Let them know no disclaimer cannot help. Don't, so long as we could play home disclaimers with what anybody say, hey, it still boils back to us. It have nothing such as a disclaimer helping we.
While it may have some mitigating impact, meaning that we are sensitive to the fact that somebody has infringed, and therefore we to protect us in studio, but generally I cannot see that preventing as a bulwark against persons who are conscious and would want to make sure that the program is on. All they simply have to do is desist.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it. Please note that this is your second warning. The authority will take action against Gael TV as it considers appropriate under the Telecommunications Act, Chapter 4731, if appropriate content continues, if inappropriate content continues to be broadcast. Please be guided accordingly. Sincerely, who is that? Coolidge, yes, Prescott, Chief Executive Officer. So I have to now say category that may well be the reason why, even though we might have had an arrangement with Gael, but it may be, and one cannot take that out of the equation as to why we could have been a little more longer tolerated by Gael, but could no longer be in the face of this. In other words, I am assuming that we would have been terminated on Gael simply because of records emanating from the authority, the Telecommunications Authority. Letters like this would, of course, and I said in no uncertain terms, if I were them, I would have had to reconsider my relationship with the ground report. And I suppose that this letter indicates or confirms that. And let this be a harbinger. Let this be a precursor. Let this be a sign based on what we have been saying, that we may move to more what I consider to be generally more widespread opportunity to reach a bigger and greater audience, and see this manifesting itself in those circumstances clearly cannot be countenanced, cannot be tolerated. In spite of this disclaimers, we still have an obligation.
Yeah, but we're saying there, Lennox. I like all your points. Yeah. So we're saying there, in technical words, there is that with what you read there, you now believe besides finances that we may have been on Gael all now, had not been that last letter coming, that we'd have been on Gael all now today. And we're saying
go to the top of the class. Go to the top of the class. That is
and I want to know how people can understand this thing, boy.
Let this be a sign. Let this be, as I say, a precursor, a premonition, whatever you want to call it. But let it be a sign, and you have to be a fool to, of course, no fire burns. You have been warned, and still push your hand in it to find out if it burns. Those are actions of fools.
So we're showing them days. We also already on a kind of on a mainstream, but just on flow, and because of the language used by our callers, we lost that little mainstream day. So imagine now when we go now to wider grounds and we callers continue to operate, so well we go lose that too.
That's right. That is what that is saying. And as I said, you have to be a fool.
I like your point.
Yes, to know that the fire burns and still push your hand in it. So we have to prevent that, or put another way. If you know you have glass house, don't throw stone. Don't throw stone, right? Because you know you have been forewarned, right? And of course, there's another saying maybe adapted for this purpose as well, or adopted for this purpose, and that is, of course, if if your neighbor's house is on fire, then of course you make certain that that all of the apparatus to prevent your house from being burnt is in place. And therefore, this is what we are doing. We are making certain that when people are cut off for such infringements, that you cannot say that you didn't know. And we have bent over backwards. So we have been extremely, what I consider be pliable, not inflexible, but pliable, in order to make people understand. And in spite of the recalcitrance of others, in spite of the protestation of others, it does not correct the situation if people are not prepared to correct themselves and act accordingly. We are not going to, of course, puncture our eyes for somebody else to feel comfortable when they could simply adjust by the verbalization or the choice of words that they will use. I'm sure all have good vocabularies from what I have gleaned from the callers and the responders and even the persons who provide the written information by way of the text. So therefore, there is no excuse. You have been forewarned, and we will take appropriate action at the appropriate time.
Nice. So where it is, we didn't want to come out and tell all your plane. Look, Lennox say it, you know. Look, Lennox tell all you. We would have been on Guile today still had that last letter did not come. Warning, that last morning there, if it didn't come, we'd have been on Guile today. So what we go do? So now we back off kind of mainstream. So we go back on the mainstream. And when we go back on the mainstream, it continue. And then we are mainstream and then bam, we back off again. Boy, we have to be real dodo heads to not understand the consequences, whether it's Act 8 thing, whether whatever, like some people saying, but look on TikTok this, boy, that don't go on TikTok. Look on Facebook, boy, that don't go on Facebook.
And it
don't go on YouTube.
These platforms emanate from where? The United States, that has a liberal position. You can use obscenity in public, and that is normative behavior. That is acceptable behavior. That is part of their culture. The same fellas who, when they come to Trinidad and they are performers in particular and they use obscenity, the police here simply go on the stage and arrest them. That's not waste time.
So I understand. So real people I know want us to now go from one level to the next and all those things. So they really have to understand. Anything that get a license in Trinidad and Tobago, that governs radio stations, television stations, that is Trinidad and Tobago base, that is the boss. Their rules supreme. And their rules is the foundation of you getting a person getting their license.
And it is not based on their rule per se, but their rules come as a consequence of the cultural and the normative behavior, inclusive of language, acceptable in the society called Trinidad and Tobago. They can go beyond that and accept, of course, the Americans, because that is not what we have grown up to be through the various social institutions of control, whether it be the family, whether it be church, whether it be schools, etc. That is not part of our culture. Understand that, and therefore the behavioral pattern they have to promote, because that is our culture. The Americans will promote theirs because that is their culture. Although of course it has international or global reach, and as a result offends ours, but we cannot wholesalely accept it because it is not yet, we have not yet reached there, and I hope we don't, because of course the moral and ethical fabric of Trinidad and Tobago will be in jeopardy as a consequence. We still have certain fundamental principles that obscenity must not be used, of course, in public, and that of course we have the question of defamation as well. All of that is part and parcel of our culture, and it is enshrined in our jurisprudence as well, because the courts will accept those things as viable in the context of Trinidad and and Tobago's culture and what is expected as far as behavioral patterns are concerned.
Imagine that. Imagine you have a program, the Ground Report, you're not getting paid from the Ground Report. And then things reaching sticky way, you might have to get a lawyer, and you gotta buy equipment, and you gotta spend money, but you ain't getting. Well, after one warning, two warning,
financial benefit,
three warning, all of them who they that don't understand and might be fighting the talk, them and all, maybe after the first warning, them would have get rid of them would have depart the program that and some people say, well, it have things on the same guile that people saying will it have obscene. So at the end of the day, those things they're not monetizing them. That it have specific programs, there is monitor. It is what it is. In between it have radio station, television stations that will get away with certain things because that not on them. Remember, Ground Report is current affairs. Ground Report is government. Ground Report is legislation. Ground Report are the power to influence our government in, our government out. Some people say, well, let me get rid of that. The border that. Oh, at the end of the day, the border that day. And even if it is a new board come, them have to go with the rules anyhow too of that. Whether UNC in power, they have to listen to go with the rules. That is that rules. No this, no that, no ever. And a new board come, it's the same thing. The only difference is it might not be letters coming that often. But at the end of the day, rules is rules. So here it is. Let me just done that. That is all.
Yeah. And one of the things I've observed finally in this whole process is that because we tell it as it is, meaning that we tell that version of the particular incident, whether they like the way that it is being expressed, but we go against really the grain of officialdom, of authority. Because if a fella says, well, listen, the boat, for example, that was blasted out of the waters on its way to Trinidad by the Americans, if a fellow were to say that that is artificial intelligence created that and is not really so, but we go with what the facts are, and if the United States president would have said that, and then we would have looked at films how that was possible, and then we go against the grain as far as that utterance or that narrative is concerned. There are people who will be upset. So and that disappointment or that aggravation can take a lot of forms, including, of course, having friends on these entities, or they may well take steps to write Google, to write YouTube, to write TikTok, etc., in order to spread a false narrative on us, simply to emasculate us. So we understand all of those challenges. So why must the callers not understand that you are part and parcel of this program? It is interactive. It is about you, frankly. Without you, we have no program in terms of the formatting of the program. But we play a vital role in making certain that we get rid of all of the, what I consider to be the unnecessaries, and we go straight to the truck, meaning that we head for the jugular, and some people simply don't like that.
Nice. So you all get it right? Nice. So let me organize and continue with our program. We have no choice. We just have to organize and watch our language from now. So in case bigger pasture or greener pastures is to fall onto us, blessings is to fall onto us, that we don't have to go through that. So the lines are open. I know the lines are open. What's on your front burner? What's your story this morning? What's supposed to make news that not making news?
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Oh boy. And to show you all, and to show you that are not that we not on anyhow Callers, the lines are open.
Anyone specifically?
Yeah, we're not talking nobody specifically.
We're not targeting anybody.
Go ahead, caller. Morning.
Good morning, ground report. Andy?
Hey, Mr. Tunapuna, pleasant good morning to you. What's on your front burner this morning, sir?
Okay, firstly, I want to apologize to the population, the radio program, if I was ever obscene in any way, and I want to publicly apologize for my language. I will temper it down in future. I am not the one that want to destroy the golden egg. I am not one who want to be provocative. I just want to raise concern that I have. In fact, I'm the voice crying out in the wilderness. I want to quote a musical thing now. Like Isaac Hayes, I stand accused. I want to be like Elton John. I want to be like the candle in the wind. I want to be like the undisputed truth. You know, smiling faces pretend to be your friend. And I'm saying this, Andy, because I feel kind of...
Die nothing, man. Die nothing. Maybe it's a greener past yet to come, but we not being in Gael have a lot to do with those languages that happened there. It was the end of the line. The man didn't want it to be under that kind of pressure no more. Right, but let me move forward. Okay. What's your contribution, sir?
Okay, I want to say this. You know, I think they need to do a testosterone test on Amy Brown, rather. You know, to prove his level of masculinity. I'm saying this. I heard him say on the news yesterday that Penny Beckles is more diplomatic and she's more accurate with foreign affairs thing than Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, who making all kind of rash and you know, statements and what have you and things. I want to know if this man is sick in his brain. Huh? And, you know, I'm saying, Andy, I am calling on the Chief Justice, Ivor Archie. Please don't retire. Resign with immediate effect. Because why I'm saying this, I saw yesterday with the industrial court opening and the session and things for the new term and what have you. And it is amazing to see. And this is what strikes me. How come the labor movement over those years was so silent? Those who were supporting PNM then, in terms of what I heard on the news, that the industrial court was understaffed, the conditions in which they have to operate, the judges, whatnot, the facilities was, abhorrent, if I may use the word. And you know, Ivor Archie, you have the responsibility for the justice system, including that of the industrial court. And you feel, in addition to that, you had so much matters before you. Huh? With the Marcia Caesar and all the things with the Al-Rawi and all of them. And you fail to take any action, and you're saying that this will be your last term. I call on you, my friend, together with the president of this country, Christine Kangaloo, together with the DPP, all you submit all your early resignation. Let this country bear some light, because here why? For too long, all you're occupying this high office, and we see nothing happening. Where people are being supposed to be charged, people are supposed to be facing the court. People may feel that I just repetitive, I just keep mentioning this, Andy. But unless we don't see something like this happening, look all this thing with this foreign exchange, huh? With all these companies and them who get all this foreign exchange and whatnot. And you want to tell me that nobody has been brought over the coals, none of these companies who have close affiliation and ties with the PNM? This is a mafia in totality in the business sector and everybody, including the banking and all them kind of things. The time has reached, and I am getting kind of perturbed about it. I am calling on the Prime Minister, this government. Hey, this thing what we investigating, this we investigate. The time for that has gone. Too much investigation has taken place, and up to now we cannot get any tangible something to say, well, yes, we're going to charge or put it in the hands of the police. But then again, you have an incompetent police force here, a police service. We have a new commissioner who's trying, but he cannot do the job himself because you don't have qualified people to do investigative issues and whatnot. at the highest level. Therefore, this government may have to, bring in foreigners, pay some money to be bringing people here, experts who could do a forensic thing and whatnot. And let me start to get down and deal with this question of bringing people to answer. All these things are things that is happening, Andy. And we just go in here like if it's normal. The government is catching the skin to present a budget because they don't know where to turn, how to get the money and what have you. But you hear equal members and them laughing at this country and telling the country the government can't get money, borrow, a bankrupt and whatnot. When you, the one who presided and officiated to the collapse of this country and its economy, aided and abetted by your former Prime Ministers, Stuart Young and Keith Rowley. All these are issues, Andy, that unless we don't see something happening immediately, we're spinning top inward. And as I say, Andy, I will just be crying out in the wilderness.
And we look forward to your contributions while you always have the opportunity to cry out in the wilderness. You just have to slow down like how you slow down. Think where various words when go slip out your mouth.
I will be moderate with my language on it. But as I say, Andy, I am 73 years, I go in 74 years.
Good advice, Andy. Good advice. Right? Yes, good advice.
And,
and that goes for others as well, not just Mr. Tonopuna. He's just a microcosm, an example of what has to be done throughout the system.
Maybe
all callers must be conscious.
Maybe, and I say this, because I grew up in a life of struggle, the temperament, the vocabulary, the language, because I've been in struggle.
Talk in your phone now, we start to get suffer.
Right, I've been in struggle for over 50-something years with some of these callers and them. I don't want to be the king or queen of the radio, but I'm saying this, it is because of that struggle that I have been involved in since before 1970, more so, being part of that whole thing with the Black Power movement. Understand that I have this kind of, this vociferously.
Yeah, passion, yeah, you're passionate, very passionate.
About struggle and thing, because not only that, before the ground report come on, I've been in struggle for all those years going by, joining with tribunals and one of them with the PTSD workers, with the nurses and them, before when Abu Bakr and them come. In fact, I was part of a protest, a demonstration with water workers, my union, supporting the nurses and them before 1990, the coup. And when this is how Abu Bakr and the Muslims decided they're going to get into that. And from the time we see, my section see, this Muslim faction putting their head into this thing, we pull out. But this was the opportunity, we were supporting the nurses and them in this struggle and thing. So I continue from then to now, and I will continue until the good Lord ready for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tuntuna. Wait, start to get sofa. Don't always start to get sofa. Next caller, man. Morning caller.
I'm so boy. So good morning to you.
Oh boy. We didn't hear you so long. I say, well, you there, like the karaoke outside there on one of them warships.
I think yesterday, I believe it was, or day before.
I said you fighting for Trump out there on one of the warships and them there. You're beating on Venezuela. Yeah.
I want a camera to announce that she taking Citizen to train, because I want to go and train too, because I'm ready for it. Because I have a dislike for Nicolas Maduro, and I have a love for President Trump, and I love that the policies what Kamala is going down by supporting the world president. I call him the world president, Donald Trump. Her policies on that behalf, she has my fully endorsement. She has my fully strength. As I tell them, I am not going behind Kamala. I'm going in front of Kamala for that policy. Because let me tell you this here. What people free to understand today. I live in the belly of the beast. These ships on them, U.S. ships on them in the Caribbean seas, in the international Caribbean seas, not in our waters. Right now, it have the communities and them on shaking because weed going up, no weed coming in the country.
So weed prices real high. What about migrants? What about migrants coming in right now?
Well, they ain't coming. You ain't seeing them again. They're leaving. They're leaving. Read were high. I was on the block. A man said, boy, going up. I said, all right. I said, no, it's working.
No,
it's working for this country.
I was passing by a place where there's had them thing and them day too. And when I passing, a man ball out, well, look how high thing. So a man say, well, why you just don't go for it? They say, well, man, they didn't say want to go and fish. Everybody's just afraid to go in the water. They say Trump blowing pirogue out of the water. So they ain't taking chance.
Once they stay in the borderline, in Trinidad and Tobago waters, they have no problems. If they step out of that waters, then that's the problems there. If they step out at the borderline, that is the real problem there. You know what I mean?
But you know Trinidadians anyhow, I and all if I was a fisherman, for now, I telling you, I digging horse right now to go there. Me?
Yes.
Yeah, I digging horse to go there.
You're quite right, gentlemen. You ought to have some skepticism as going out there and ply your trade. But of course, people like myself who make it your business to find out, well, how does the United States Army or Navy determines whether or not a particular pirogue or a particular vessel is a target? Well, a very complicated, about 3 tiers. You have, of course, planes. You have surveillance plane. Then you have another system that goes directly to the ship that is out there. And then, of course, I think back in the United States, there's another level which is to determine whether or not a strike should take place. Then you have satellites being used to infiltrate conversations. And based on the conversation, you will know, because of clearly, if you're not speaking Spanish, you have technology that will, of course, interpret that into English or whatever language that is your mother tongue, and reliably. So all of that takes place. So I would suggest to the fishermen in Cedros, etc., go and fish, but of course make sure and stay within of course Trinidad
in the waters. Yes, stay in the waters. Stay in the waters.
We're looking as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, stay in the waters. Don't go out at the boundary line. But gentlemen, I want to send a word to a senator, minister. Lead them language for Kingsley and the ground report and the activists and them now. He's a minister now. You want to law say work? He's a minister now. Lead that for the locksmith show in the night time. Lead that for this show. Lead that for the callers to say what they have to say. Who's a minister? Philip Alexander. He have to be responsible. He have to be. You know, this is a minister now. We getting all this time to go on live and divide this country and talk about race and who more Indian. This are no Indian and African here, you know. This is Trinidad and Tobago, yeah, you know. This is red, white, and black, you know. This is not about this. Kamala swearing on the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. She's never swearing on that guitar, you know. She's swearing on the Constitution of this country. So when you go on live and you're damaging the party, you who in a minister, like it have nothing to do for him in the ministry. He is on vacation in a ministry. He will bring down the government. And if Kamala call him in, he will get more out of control, like how he is. He will get more out of control. Yet to know what to say. Yet to know the media on him. The country on him. I tell the UNC already, this country hold the UNC on a higher standard than the PNM. What the PNM would get with, they can't get with. This government today is looking to me, there's going to be a one-term government, you know. Because the actions what these people are taking in this country. Because, come on, let me be real. This program is where you help your supporters. It's where you help your activists and them. It's where you give your activists a little something that they could carry on for the next 4 years, for the next 5 years. You understand me? I understand you're removing the corruption. I say this, man, you shall remove all PNM people and leave UNC people there. Because the UNC people is feeded to the UNC activists is feeded on the ground. The people in CPEP, is vote for the UNC. People in the URP, they vote for the UNC because the UNC get a mandate. They get one of the highest voter turnout in this country ever see. So they give them a mandate. And if you are touching, because come on, these things is where activists who don't really could do a skill work. They could put them in one of these programs, and them activists who do really could read and write. You could put them in one of these programs, and to close on the program so long and then open it back up. It's very concerning that you have a minister now going on the live talking about nuclear weapons and yes, India more than come on, this what we want. We vote for policies, as I said earlier on, tell us the problem, fix the problem. Don't complain about the problem, because we was waiting for 9 years, 9 years we was preparing for this, So we should be ready. We should be focused on the job. This is not about Kingsley. This is about saving UNC for the next 5 years to come, because this country is not a forgiving country for the UNC. And I believe the local election will tell a story next year, The local election coming here will tell a story, And if we hold the corporations and then we hold in, because Sandy Grande right now it's in a mess. That corporation is a mess. I do not know how that corporation will swing next year. And again, every single body go by a minister now or MP now in the UNC. They turn them wait until after the budget. Yes, that's all. I was speaking to a lady again. She said they say we don't have the budget. I hope when after the budget you read and people come at only to them wait next year, because what have we wait for 100 days? They know what have we now wait until after the budget. I hope that when the budget pass October the 5th, we at the working class waiting for the back pay. The working class vote for Karen Pusa because she has seen that she's going to pay 10%, and they come out in the numbers. As I leave, gentlemen, this is not an attack on our UNC. If anybody believes this is an attack on the UNC, no problem with it. I can handle all you. But this is something that the UNC must take in contest. That they cannot have a minister here. They cannot have a minister on live making these allegations, but here is more Indian than African. What is that? You dividing the country by saying that you giving Marshall Walker ammunition to talk about. You giving Akash to question you. You giving the country question to hold government accountable for what they do. So again, I beg on the UNC, I beg on Kamala, call in Philip Alexander and read the Rat Act against him. Let him stay in his lane. Let them do the people work. All Duncan plannings need fix over. All Beverly Hills plannings need fix over. All Nelson Street plannings need fix over. Shafford Court, where he went up against the all Belmont in Gonzales, they will have agency plannings. Philip, you should be there meeting the people and dealing with that.
Well, before I go, somebody said that Lucky Lal saying, but Philip Edward Alexander was responding to a commentator who spoke of ethnicity. He was correct. Who is percentage is more people. So that's what the caller saying. So well,
I don't know nothing about that. You don't know nobody. You were on the live, and yesterday when Akash asked him the question about the parliament and asked him where's the information about these things on them. You see, you have no information about it. You were just talking out of emotional. Go on to answer the clip. When Akash meet him, and Akash even asked him, but the Prime Minister says stay in a lane. He says sorry, and now we know because like he gets in the party because his word was that no, I know to stay in my lane. And that's what I do, like staying in a lane. Don't go on a live and make a leader for KFC, Mr. Cruz, Anderson, me, the callers, to them kind of talk. We can handle that. Use our minister now. You want to lose a job, you want to lose a portfolio, you want him to call on you for him to move you. You want Kamala to look bad. So I am just cautioning the minister. There's no excuse for the truth. So I do not want to hear about he was responding to somebody. Not that everything a minister at the back, let me to respond to them. Yeah, the quota and all, because it's a minister. Do the minister work. So again, UNC,
Right, before you
this
go,
country whole, yeah.
Ravi saying Philip now start. Wait till he get warm up. He will cuss Akash just now.
because everybody, because and that was the leader. That's how leader. And we know that Philip is 10 times worse than Gary Griffith. 10 times worse, because he thinks he see about that lady already. Nobody. He pull up in them jersey, all kind of thing. He said Rowley go win election and all. He said Kamala can't beat Rowley. But then no politics have a morality of his own. Yesterday, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I have no problem. The day after I cuss Philip for Kamala, after I destroy him for Kamala, he sit down on the wrong table and I behind the table. That's a problem, because I understand the game. But I am saying this that we work too hard. We work too hard to only get a 5 years term. Because I do not know, because look at it, and the many ministers today in answering the phone. I text 3 individual ministers for the last 2 weeks. 3 individual. I'm not going to call the name. I'm not ready for them as yet. And let me get a story before I close.
Wait, make
I
it
was
quick,
on the
make it
highway
real quick.
coming.
Yeah, go ahead.
Make it quick. Right. I was on the highway coming down the road, and a 4x4 pull up. So when I look, the 4x4 say, Kingsley. When I look over, so they say, Kingsley, but that the car you driving. I say, what do you mean? They say, boy, by since the UNC win, you shall be driving a new car. That was Guardian 3 we put on them. They say, but look at Twiggy. They say, look at them kind of call activists who them know was against the UNC and come in the last 2 months for election, because these certain bloggers come in the last 2 months and was campaigning for the UNC like MCW, this girl called Martha, and many of them come in the last 2 months, but I was there for 9 years. 9 years, I wasn't there for 2 months. And I said, Kingsley, but look at Twiggy, what's a walk? The media people started to call names, you know. I'm telling the UNC, I'm not ready as yet. When I'm ready, you're going to hear Kingsley. Because I'm telling you this, Kingsley never got locked up in the last 9 years under the PNM. But I believe under the UNC, Kingsley will get locked up, because only in effing me up, you know. Only in effing me, because the people today, look at me and say, Kingsley, but what going on with the UNC, you know? People say, Kingsley, what going on, you know? The people is not going to laugh at me, you know. The PNM, Davy and Pastor Google is not going to laugh at me, you know.
All right.
I will take lock up, you know.
All right, don't take no lock up. You ain't got no reason to get lock up. Right, lock off that lock up talk.
And I think by and large, Andy.
Wait, just
we have a follow-up.
Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Andy.
Yeah, man, and Lennox in studio.
Morning, man. Yeah, Mr. Lennox, Mr. Contribution, yeah, man. Yeah, listen, I was trying to get the program, otherwise, earlier this week, when we were talking about the CPEP and the URP. Now, I have relatives who used to work in the CPEP, and boy, things is under pressure with people with that CPEP and that URP thing. People really under pressure. And my thing is, how I look at it, boy, the government, they come like the government punish the people who was working, they punish the contractors for the government mistake. The last government mistake where they went at a rush to sign it, because I said that is the corruption part. That is what all is happening, because they say the 2 days before the election or the day for the election, they went and signed the extension for these contracts, right? That is no fault of the contractor. If I am a contractor and they say, hey, come and sign off, we extended the contract, okay, all right, I come in and sign. But now you punish the contractor and you're punishing, because you didn't pay them the money you're supposed to pay them, and you punish the workers for the government's mistake. I find that should not be. I find that very, very hard for the people on the ground to be punished. Right? So you come like you're punishing the children for the parents' mistake. That wrong. take the is done, look at me done in October, going into October. They're supposed to already have a plan. You're investigating how long you want to invest. They say 6 months. But as an investigation, you're supposed to put things in place already and say, here what, we have list of names or whatever, or you put up your bids, hey, we have new contract for contractors, or they come in and we start back this thing rolling. But you ain't hearing nothing from nobody. When they say you're happy, that I find your application shut down because that was the most thing I was for sure was good. That was money going on, the drain. People were getting rich off of that for no work being done. I never see a European gang in my area yet doing nothing. And it had European gang names to my area. I never see a worker yet. So I don't know what was going on there. But I European, I think you see all the things, all right, let me say European wants to build box drain and all them kind of thing. Let that go under CPEP as a different department in CPEP. So you had the department for the people who cut in grass. You had the department for who want the agriculture part, like the reforestation and thing. You have a department for that. You have a department for who want to build drains and thing under one body. So again, and the same thing how they say, you yourself say, that they have people going around making sure that the CPEP contractors are the men on the ground and thing, and they're going around, you're the very same, again, who goes in CPEP. You're doing the same thing, but you're putting all these programs under one head, where you get the same supervision and start back this program. So no longer, all right, we have a contractor build this drain, it has no ghost gang there. That contractor you pass around and seeing that work going on. You have a contractor to clean bush, you're seeing that going on. And they want a reforestation, you have a contractor for that department, you're seeing everything. The supervision has to be there, and you're seeing this work going on. But they just ain't saying nothing. Everybody in the government just gets silent. Not a media briefing. You used to see a media briefing with the government and sometimes for the cabinet meeting. You ain't hearing nothing else that's going on in the country besides if a reporter want to know something with Maduro thing, you go to them. Up to now, I hear the Prime Minister call a conference and say, here, this is our, you hear a little media briefing, a little snippet of a reporter might call and she might see a statement come out. But they ain't hearing nothing from the Minister National having a proper news conference and saying this is what's going on in the country right now, right? You're not hearing nothing, so you're just leaving people to speculate and say, yeah, but the country has no money, and we just moving day to day without no kind of way in the future. Wait for the budget. That's what we say, wait for the budget. And that's all we're hearing. Wait for the budget, wait for the budget, wait for the budget. How long people go sit down there and wait for a budget? Because a budget date themselves calling. So next thing they say right now, boy, budget in November. No budget in November. Only in October. You need a date, put out a date so people know something. They just keeping people there wondering and hoping and say something now. They only come out and say something. Okay, we reached this far with the investigation here, but we have some good news. Things going to start back up next month or wherever. But they just have people wondering and boy, what to do, boy? I mean, as me and I even know, if I get fired from CPEP, I don't try to go out and look for next work. I ain't going to sit down 6 months to wait for a churn to mine, books to feed, and books to buy, and whatever. And my life had to go on. So I'm going to sit down and hope to get CPEP work again. I go out there and look for it. But then there's 10,000 people out there saying the same thing. We had to go out there and look for it. And they don't have the 10,000 jobs out there, just sit down waiting people go there to go and look for it. That's another thing. So people might say, yeah, but why don't work out there, let them go and look. They don't have to work out there, work hard, everybody doesn't work hard. So when who is to lean on the government for a little thing, that's gone too. So it make it even harder. But time they had to come together and do something, come out, have a news conference or something, and talk to the public. Talk to the public and let them know the situation that's going on. Let the people know how serious things are in the country. And now we're hearing people speculating. The government has no money. Is either the government have money or they don't have no money. We have money to rally with it, or let the country have to know what's going on. Don't afraid because we had the promises. We have promises has come, promises has go. We all know this. Everybody get accustomed to this thing already in parliamentary. But they had to come out and say something, boy, and boy, they just can't be leaving people. We can't plan the future because you don't know what's going on. I can't get no US. One person saying they can't have US, next person say a cartel, next person have no US, and there's a whole thing going on, boy. Come out and see how the country going. Don't wait, everybody else waiting, like, you know, we waiting for we death. So let's say, all right, or they jump over the cliff and everybody else jump over the cliff. That's the idea. They had to come out and start the whole these thing. But I can't tell you the last time I hear Mr. Rudan Budila talk about anything energy. The last thing when they're talking about when they open with the bedrooms, not even he come and address the nation and say, well, this what going on with the oil and thing. He nowhere to be found neither. So what going on with these ministers? What going on? You're seeing Philip Alexander, you're hearing Anna Roberts, right? This is junior ministers. Everything coming up is junior ministers. I ain't hearing Miss Jolene John saying nothing. I ain't hearing nobody, any upper ministerial saying they're leaving everything for the junior minister and them to talk. They're not seeing these ministers and they're not saying it. Like everybody is hiding. They're just hiding. Oh gosh, man, or they do better than we vote or they want to be better than the PNM, but come and do better than the PNM now. Don't be hiding everything. The Prime Minister herself, you're not even seen, not even in our conference. Yes, she's doing work behind it, but let us show itself. All the ministers and them hiding. You ain't nothing from them, boy. Come out and say something, and things why getting fed up by the people, let me alone, you know. The people on the ground, everybody getting fed up by the hiding and the document. We want to hear. Please, let them come out. I want the best for this country, boy. Anybody best. I want the best. I want people to live real nice. We vote for that, boy. But oh gosh, even if we know we are not under pressure, but we can rally through it as we just always do and come out on top, boy. But say something, boy. Thanks, boy, Andy, boy. Later.
You sound like a first-time caller. Just continue listening to the program. Well, boy, Lennox, is you on it? So we gonna take calls by the time and thing, but you on? You have anything that you would like to?
Yeah. I am very concerned about the last caller's assertions because clearly in the Parliament very recently, which have resumed on Friday, announcement was made that the budget statement will be made in the first early October. And if you are aware, you will understand that there is a legal constraint to the government. It can't go beyond October because since the arrangement has been changed to catch as much of the dry season as possible. That's one aspect of it. And I suspect as well that if the substantive and the persons that he claimed are not speaking, and only the junior person speaking, if both of them were speaking, or if it was the reverse, he might have, of course, changed it and say, well, look, he's not hearing the junior ministers, if the senior ones were speaking. Why am I saying so? Because every Thursday, of course, ministers come to the public by virtue of the post-cabinet meetings and talk about when school, for example, the last one, when school, the deployment of police officers, the whole question of URP and the ghost gangism and so on. And one of the issues that I think is generic, the golden thread that is common to all of that is the fact that there are those who would like 9-point-something years to be condensed into just over 100 days. It is logically impossible. It is practically cannot be done, and all arms of the state is not yet in the total orbit or control of the government. There needs to be more time. In the meantime, nobody would expect that if it is that you have an investigation and what is being unfolded, because he did not deny that the discovery of corruption by the substantive ministers and those very persons about whom he claimed seem to be definitely silent at this point in time, cannot say that these revelations did not come from them, including the Prime Minister. And therefore, that in itself will take time in order to rectify and to expect, of course, an investigation of that type, one, and two, to weed out the corrupt and to get a grasp as to what has to be done ultimately. Not that they don't know, but the outcome of the investigation will inform what remedies has to take place. So it's not to say that remedies are not being formulated. His concern, however, is that they are not being, of course, disclosed to the population. Well, common sense will tell you that it cannot be, because it is a work in progress, and therefore when you expect the minister or the government to make a statement on a particular topic, it will be after all of these factors are taken into consideration, and a solution, or in the form of a policy and position, would now be preferred and projected onto the population. In the meantime, that is how it is. You cannot condense 9-point-something years into just over 100 days, and there will be, of course, impatience. There are those, particularly those who might have been directly affected, whether they believe that they are a victim or not. But the fact of the matter is that the entire system, because it was dysfunctional, and I'm talking here specifically about URP, CPEP, of course, the reforestation programs, and so on, all of them simultaneously have to be dealt with. So it will be a bit, I would not say dishonest, but certainly impractical. And I'm using a nice term here because I want to believe that the caller might have been genuine in terms of his assessment of the situation and the lack of what I consider to be information that cannot be projected at this time because of the complexity and the multiplicity of actions that have to be assessed and taken and decisions made in order to come to a settled position so that people will know how to plan, as he rightly said, and how to move forward, whether or not there will be a URP, and if it's in the same form, or a CPEP, and if it's the same form, and what other policy position that will be taken on these specific matters. I know that the people are hurting. I heard Kingsley. Well, of course, I am in the belly of it, so I can tell you. And I want to say that speed and alacrity is important, but you have to do it with precision. Again, in the question of additional funding that may be required, then there was, in fact, a mid-year review of the 2025 budget that provided resources to end the fiscal year. And we would have been told that that was done with speed, largely because every single ministry, including that of the Attorney General, there would have been an exhaustion of the grant or the drawdown by these various ministries by the time the 28th of April came and the new government came into place. It might have been that there may not have been even salaries for the ministers that would have emerged from the change of government. So all of those factors are well known and ought to be well known to the population. And if they are not, maybe he probably is listening to the wrong program. He should be listening to the wrong report, where, of course, some of these anecdotes would have been, of course, projected to the population already. But once again, you cannot condense 9-point-something years into just over 100 days. It's impossible, humanly impossible, for that to happen. All assets and facets and arms of government are, in fact, not yet in total control or within the orbit of the present government. There are boards to still be appointed. There are positions still to be fulfilled. And, of course, the political fallout is the risk that must be taken in such circumstance in order to make certain that for moving forward, that there's a smooth management of the affairs of the country. These days will come to pass, just as we have seen with the last administration. And when the benefits begin to unfold and the people begin to recognize that it was worth it waiting, then I'm sure that I would want to disagree with my friend Kingsley that it ain't no one-term government. What I could assure is that the PNM as an institution may not be around after the first term of this administration, it having done so much evil to the people, and of course may well be relegated to the dustbin of political history. If it is that he is thinking that the replacement, impossible as it is for the UNC, is the PNM, I want to show him that that and a pink donkey he will not see, particularly once the ground report and the other arms of reality information dissemination are around to defend the truth and nothing but the truth.
Nice. Let me get a caller there. Well, all of the lines are open. You all heard Kingsley. You all heard the caller after Kingsley and all. You all hear for all yourself their thoughts. And Lennox explanation, I believe, again, is great. It have no way this government could really and truly, this government, agakadabra, pow, things going to happen.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. And they get lured because that is a PNM agenda. The 12 plus 1, that is their agenda, and they would feel comforted to say that. But we will examine all of those and the reality and whether it is congruent, it is consistent with the realities of the times and what is confronting this new administration.
All right, let me take this call. Go ahead, caller.
Morning, reporter.
Yes, go ahead, caller. Morning.
Good morning, Gong report. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, I was trying to call in, but I was already doing a voice note. I just brought my attention listening to Kingsley and listening to the activists, and he started on one topic and then he ended on boiling to other topic, where a message you want to send. And I've been listening to Kingsley, I don't know what Kingsley head is, because a couple of days ago, he bashing the government, right? Stating about how they're so wicked and concerning the, so 1 minute he's saying he's neutral, and 1 minute he have an agenda, right?
So you hear some days ago?
I save it. It was arise on his, he has something called Kingsley. Kingsley was on a program. Kingsley, I do something is wrong with Kingsley. I know Kingsley does just talk for to be recognized. I don't know. 1 minute, you make it clear that you're neutral. You're not supporting each other PNM. You're about Trinidad and Tobago. But this morning you're calling and saying, but you work for 9 years. Make up your mind now. All right, make up your mind. My problem is that I hear the activists are debating on the ground. So and prior to that, the PNM activists, I think people had an issue. Right? Or some of them was a political appointee for the PNM. But it's the same what I see taking place here when these activists, right, is political position and political favor they are crying out for, right? And because we see when the report come out in CPAP and Europe, we see some of the activists on them. One of them was on a radio station and 9 years they was on a government job and never went to work. So I don't know if this is a similar pattern we are looking to go down again, right? And so what about the persons who are speaking out, right? And had no political affiliation, right? Trinidad and Tobago, where there's space. I hear the Prime Minister state she called, could be COP, could be who. There's room for everybody, but so there's only one set of people are crying out like they deserve the moon, the stars, and everything. And how other persons in this country are looking to, get opportunity just as everybody else. And this is not about activism alone.
You understand? It's that people who work hard and address the things that the PNM government that they wasn't satisfied, right? Some of them belong to political organizations. Some of them they have their own space. So this is not about the activism alone. This is about Trinidad and Tobago. And one of your callers just called and then we're not hearing, we only hearing, wait. How long again people will wait? So I don't want us to go down that road. I want our next activists, our UNC activists, demanding that, right, that like when CPEC open back, that they're supposed to be in control. It's the same narrative, it's the same political position you all are looking for because you all told a political line. This is my observation, and that's my opinion. I find it looking like it's the same old same, the flip side of the other coin. So I look to listening. If Lennox want to address
no, but let me ask you something. I want to. No, I don't want Lennox to do that. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
So in first world countries and most countries in the world, does it have anything called political activists and political patronage or you will get favors and all those various things? Or that is only for here in Trinidad? Just asking.
I think I can answer that question. I don't know. That is not my point, Mr. Andy. That is not my point,
So
my point is it have other organization, right, deserve the same treatment as any other organization, political activists. Is not the space is not for them alone. It's about Trinidad and Tobago.
Right, but would you not put your people? But would you not put? Yes, but would you not? But would you not but so long as they qualify, put your people that are qualified because political appointments.
When you mean your people, Twiggy was all your people.
No. All right. Yeah. You can say yes. Twiggy was with people because she understood what the government was about. So would you not, Lennox Smith, explain what it is?
Let me put some rationality or some stability to the discussion. The caller is correct that there is, and I am assuming that he understands that political patronage is part of that. That is why he said that, of course, he can't answer that because he knows that is so. So I'm being presumptuous here. But the fact of the matter is that
you're correct. You're correct.
Political. Yeah, no, because I could go further to simply say, do you expect that anybody from Biden administration is now in the Trump administration? And the answer will be that's a rhetorical question. All right, so let us not waste time there. But the point I am making here is that political appointees must obviously be replaced by political appointees. That principle is well established across the globe. Here's where the difficulty is. When you put political appointees to the exclusion of all else, and I think that is where he is going. So political appointees must be put there to carry out the generic policies of the government, meaning that if you are in charge of, let's say, one of the public institutes, let's say you are on the board of the Ministry of Health, one of the health agencies, then once you are there, you carry out the policies of the government, but at the behest of the government. But at the same time, when anybody, whether it's PNM, COP, anybody at all, goes to the health facility for assistance, they must not be seen as a UNC, and therefore they will get preference over the other. No. It doesn't work like that. And that was the difficulty with the PNM. What did they do? What they did, by and large, they appoint and position PNM operatives to the exclusion of all else. And that is where the difference is. But to say that you must not appoint political elements to political positions, it will be naive, stupid, frankly, and is like shooting yourself in the foot, because the UNC experienced that. We quarrel with the Kamala Prasad Bisesa administration between 2010 and 2015, and they waited 3 years to deal with the URP workers, for example. And for the first time in the history of the URP, middle management and lower management people were conspiring to take the administration to court. Why? Because there was a legitimate expectation established by keeping them there for 3 years. And then you have the audacity of the present PNM, who, of course, know that they must be displaced based on political appointeeism. Let me put it that way. And here it is, they still want to remain in these political appointed positions and deprive the UNC activists from these very positions that are purely political appointed positions. As I said, you cannot have political appointment to the exclusion of everyone else. When these positions are filled, one expects that everybody in the society, regardless of who you are, whether on religious grounds, whether political grounds, whether school, whether it's family, etc., must be able to access the resources that are available and the functionality of the particular institution that is supposed to deliver to the public. That is the perfect scenario. But the PNM, I'm afraid, must be accused of what? Of political appointees to the exclusion of all else.
Nice. So I'll show you get a day caller. At the end of the day, the Biden administration appointed their people. There, Trump people wasn't there. When Trump come in, he get rid of all the political appointed positions that Biden appointed people, and Trump put his people to execute his policies. UNC have to put their people to execute their policy. Where them put PNM people to execute UNC policies? It don't work so.
Undermine them?
And that will just undermine them. So it don't work so, caller.
Listen, Andy, I'm saying, you're straying from the point. I never discussed that we all know that all government is a political appointee. What Mr. Lennox just
I'm
make
glad
it
that you
clear
said that.
at the
Well,
end of the
thank you very much for saying that, because earlier on you said you didn't know.
Yeah.
You said you didn't know earlier, so thank you for confessing what we.
Yeah, you really said you didn't know earlier.
Yeah. I was waiting for you. Now that I know that you know, doesn't mean it was deliberate.
All right, but you go.
You asked me, Mr. Lennox, you asked me about the Biden administration. I tell you, I don't know. Waiting, I live in Trinidad. I know about the political landscape.
I brought in Biden. You said what you said.
Oh, you used that as a reference.
Andy asked you the question.
I did ask you the question.
That we don't have
and I didn't go away.
Memory here. It's he asked you the question. And you said you didn't know. I brought in the question of Biden.
You get catch caller, but you go ahead. Go ahead. What else?
What I didn't know about a political appointee in Trinidad and Tobago?
He asked the question, and I'm paraphrasing here, I may not be specific, but he said generally that whether or not somebody else must be, or put another way, that UNC activists must not be the beneficiary of these positions. And then you said you know what's that effect? Yeah.
No, Mr. Lennox, my question this morning is that all other, listen to me. Mm-hmm. My question this morning is all other organizations deserve equal opportunity just as the activists. That is my point. All right, and the activists
and we explained it. We said that
you clarified at the end of the statement.
Appointment. That's a different thing. But we said that it mustn't be to the exclusion of those persons that you are concerned about.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, whether it be a football team, whether it be a church, whether it be. No, when the political appointees have been settled upon, then they have a duty to deal with all, let me repeat, all of Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of your position.
Hi, caller. So thanks. So
right. My statement, my song a little controversial, but nevertheless, it is what it is.
Right. That's quite all right. But you know, we have to extrapolate and we have to debunk at times, and we then have to, of course, come to a reasonable conclusion, which I think we have this morning.
All right. Why, Lennox, you couldn't have paid down better, boy. What? Let me continue. It is what it is. Yeah. Kamala have to put up people there, but when the people go there,
caught my suspicion. He rose my suspicion. He raised a red flag in me when he said that he didn't know. You can't answer that when you ask whether or not political appointees from the UNC to that effect should be replacing. You know, because it speaks to the present PNM. The present PNM want their political activists, including, of course, those contractors that have
which political appointed attractors.
Yeah, they're saying that they want to go to court in order to stay where they are in political appointed position. You see, there's a madness. so you then want the court to agree that they must stay there to undermine the UNC's policies and programs. That's what Penelope Beckers and they are arguing up and down the country today. That's what they're doing. But that kind of pink donkey they won't see, and including their own entity, I talk about the PNM itself, may well be in jeopardy and run the risk of being obsolescence or Jurassic.
Lennox, Lennox, you have to go through all that, Lennox. Pleasant good morning. Andy Williams, you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Andy Williams, pleasant good morning to you, my brother. Brother Lennox, pleasant good morning to you, my brother. Trinidad and Tobago, pleasant good morning. Now, when I call in to make a contribution, I doesn't call in for people to be favored by people, right? I just call in to speak on the basis of what I just be observing in my surroundings, right? And what I want to explain to Trinidad and Tobago this morning, right? On the 20th of April, it had a general election in Trinidad and Tobago. It have two political entities in Trinidad and Tobago that divide. It have other political entities yet, but the main two is the PNM and the UNC. When the UNC, if the UNC lose power, PNM just come in, the PNM lose office, the UNC come in. When the UNC come into office, right? The PNM for 9 years and months, Trinidad and Tobago. How could we expect? The election was on the 20th of April, right? We are checking from April, we're checking from May, June, July, August, September. Today, the 18th or the 17th, the 18th of September. Only can check how much days that is. How only want this administration to just only still looking out for the magic word? Why only not giving the woman a chance? Only seeing what's going on with Venezuela. Only hearing what's going on with Venezuela. They're trying to topple. And why we say that he giving this administration 12 months? You understand? Only hearing what's going on, only seeing what's going on, only know fully well that the country has no money. And I say it every day, you know, because it appears like people not understanding. I am an activist, yes. I know what it is to be wealthy. You understand? Some people will be enjoying themselves right there like Piggy and them. I have no quarrel with that. I have no quarrel with that. Who will to me? But when the time is, let us give the government time to take control of the country. And when we see the government take control of the country and we see it otherwise, then we can start to talk. Then we can start to say this and say that. I know the Prime Minister and she team, the Honorable Prime Minister, they will go to this country. And if we give the administration a chance to do what they're doing, to bring this country under control, we will see better. And I want to say something here, right? It has to get worse before it gets better. Or they understand that it has to get worse before it gets better because of the nonsense the former administration did to this country. I hear people talking about 5 years and 5 years. You're taking this government and you're moving them from office to put back who? To put back Freddy? To put back the budget? To put back Shorten? To put back Ariani? To put back all of them who was stealing and giving them for money, who was looting and giving them for money, who was plundering and giving them for money and the friends? What sort of empowerment that was empowering the poor people in Mickie? What was going for the youth in Mickie? Tell me that here. Look the situation in school. The two women trying to solve the school violence problem. And what's going on? The Stellar student with bullet in the head now. Come on, Trinidad and Tobago.
Legislaturity in 9 years, only wait to serve in 5 months. In 5 months, only wait to see after all that happened. Man, there's something wrong with you, man. Something wrong with you. But you want to say like, but you running Trinidad and Tobago. Every time Canada do something, but you run them talking. They chatting with it, doing all kind of things. And people in the person, and this, and that, come on, people, let me give the government a chance to take hold of the country now. They ain't take hold of the country yet. All them state board and them, they ain't full up. It's still a lot of state board need to be fully. So come on and tell them to but please, or they understand what's going on there. And you're not trying to understand, brother.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Morning caller, where you calling from? What's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
Hi, good morning again, Andy, Lennox, Mikey, Newbie, and to everybody out there. Lennox, first of all, thank you for that explanation. Thank you so much. And you read the letter from the Telecommunications Authority. Thank you. It's not that Santa Cruz have anything against anybody, but the right thing is the right thing. And when we have children, we know what the right thing is. Anyway, I heard a caller talking about the UNC was vexed. Now, maybe I heard it wrong. I stand to be corrected about where the PNM put their people in place and now they put in. I want to tell that caller something. You have to go back before you could come forward. 30 years PNM were in office and they put all their political appointees there to carry out their plans and policy of their government. Right? You're not going to bring a stranger in your house to carry out your policies. No, you won't do that. Rowley didn't see a problem, but we know you only joined the PNM in 1986, right? He didn't see it a problem then. But when the UNC came into office, especially under Mrs. Prasad Bisessa's government, he saw a problem with her putting her people in place to carry out her policies. He started that narrative about the putting the people in places, right? I distinctly remembered when he told Annan Ramlogan, you're giving all your friends and them from your chambers briefs and things. Annan Ramlogan, as the Attorney General then, and he said, turn and ask him, do you want me to give it to my enemies? Good answer. You're not going to give things to your... Why would you give things to your enemies? For them to undermine you? And he gave it to his friends, as Rowley called it, right? And they brought in money in the country. Rowley gave to his friends and all the people he gave silk to, and they lost money. When Rowley came in now, right? He had a problem with Mrs. Prasad Bisessa. But when he came in now, he practiced nepotism, cronyism, bad governance, no transparency, and we saw it with the procurement bill. We saw it, how they butchered that. At a breakfast meeting in 2015 with Afro Raymond and them, he told them, as soon as he comes in, he's going to clog all the loopholes and things in the procurement because it was a bad piece of law. This time it was passed there. It was passed under the partnership government, only to be implemented, right? He said he's going to do this, that, and the other. How many years it took them before they... And what were they doing with it? They butchered it. They butchered it. We saw all what they did to that procurement for friends, family, and financiers, right? So you can't expect the others. As I say, is Rowley was singing that song about Kamala putting her people in place. Kamala giving her people this. Who did Rowley give things to? Who did Rowley give things to? Rowley had A&V daughter sitting in the Senate, and we all know the relationship with he and that man. Right? He brought back in Malcolm Jones, the Newman man, Newman George, and Bridget Annie said George were Rowley's campaign manager, and look at the positions he gave them. I ain't hear nobody. That is why the UNC had to talk about it. You could talk about me, I could talk about you. Right? So now it's only right and fair that they put people in positions to carry out their plans and policies. And Andy and Lennox, from what I am hearing, there's still a lot of PNMites sitting on boards that refuse to move. That is why it is taking so long for boards and things to be implemented. I am hearing, I am absolutely sure I saw it on social media, although I don't like to take a lot of things on social media. You understand? Somebody from Netco still sitting there. He said he's not moving. Well, if he's not moving, all you know what to do to move him. Take it through the courts. It is only natural that when a new government come into office, that they put their people in place. Why is the PNMites and them so bold-faced that they feel that they have to remain sitting there? To do what? To undermine the government? No, we don't want that. And all this sing-song that I am hearing every day, and if only had programs on a Sunday, we would have heard it twice. Right? That, oh, they suffer for 9 years, and now it's months, and they can't do this, and they can't do that. When you are in the kitchen, you're going to feel the heat. Do you think it is so easy to clear up an investigation? I come here to talk about this one-term government, all they start to wash all them out already on the government. But we remembered that sing-song was before the government, UNC winning nothing. So now they come now, 5 months in office, or much 140 days in office, to say it's a one-term government. Why? Because they tried to clean up the corruption, and they done running them out on the local government elections. All you really don't like good for all yourself, you know. All you know what all you went through under the PNM for 9 years and 7 months, and all you coming to blind this government. They were not hurried, they were not saying that word, they helped put them there. And now they want to come and talk about this government. The government has not even passed a budget yet. They're still running on the budget from the PNM, and apparently it's still not stretching as they wanted it to stretch. And only coming to bad talk the government. And next thing, Andy. Penelope Beckles said that the army is not being fed. No, I'll put it in my, but I'll break it down rather than only the go barrel that she was talking, all right? That they are not being fed properly. And I think this lady needs an exorcist or Dr. Phil. Something is definitely wrong with her. Maybe she should try giving them some of the food that she and Brian Manning and all of them eating. But Andy, didn't we hear that? Didn't we hear that when PNM was in office? That they were making macaroni rice pie for them? And a certain nonsense they were talking about the kind of food that they were giving them to eat. And now she come now to make it look as though this government not feeding the people properly. She finds she did not talk enough stupidity when the granny bill is going to cause voter padding. And you know what, Andy and Lennox? I feel ashamed for the PNM independent senators. One abstained and the rest didn't vote for the bill. The rest didn't vote for the bill. What was wrong in that bill? What was wrong in that bill? I still try to understand. To make somebody who born away once they have parents or grandparents, the heritage from here, that they could get on whatever. What is wrong in that? And before I leave, Andy, I want to tell Penny, you're a hypocrite. You're a mocking pretender. You said no to the children's life fund bill. You said no to it, but you're going to read for the children in some area. You love children so much now, or you only love them when they're strong and healthy. You don't like them when they're sick. You don't want better for them. I tell you, Andy, you see, when we clear up being a mocking pretender and being ignorant, things will be better in this country. Andy and Lennox, thanks so much for listening to me. Take care and have a good one. Later.
Go ahead, next caller.
Hi, good morning, Andy.
Children so much now.
Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm calling from Pitty Valley. Santa Cruz.
Good morning.
I listen to you. But we have to remind Penelope Beckles when the president, Paula May Weeks, went down to the base down there, and the soldiers told her what they were getting as meals. Macaroni in and out. Macaroni every day. And the big boys and them eating and drinking. And so they started to give them soldiers something good to eat. But when Serge asked Penelope a very pertinent question, how long this has been going on? How long has it been going on? So I am waiting today to hear she answer him. Because this has been happening for years, but you see, they now wake up and everything happening from April. Everything in this country happening from April. They were so nice and good, nothing bad happened under the PNM. You understand? But like I said recently, keep Penelope there. Once Penelope is opposition leader, UNC will be in office. Because she, when you think before her was dumb, Penelope Beckles is the dumbest leader opposition this country has ever seen. And not she alone, I know. The whole bunch behind her. They're going to follow the leader. That's what they're doing. They're following she and talking stupidness. I'm waiting today to hear what the former Minister of Education has to say about the 13-year-old one who they found with marijuana on the school compound. I want to hear she going to tell me the grandmother is PNM, the mother is PNM, and the father is PNM. So I break it down to is all the PNM children were causing all this mayhem and everything was happening in the school is the PNM children. Because children live what they learn, and they learn from the grandmother and the parents. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, next caller. Turn down the volume.
Morning, go report. Morning. California here, boy.
Go ahead to the Puna.
No, California, boy. California.
Oh, California. Go ahead, California.
It's only good, boy.
Hi there, California. What's your contribution this morning?
I listen to the program, but it's to tell you the truth, people are very frustration, right? You see, they vote for government, right? And they're expecting change. And I mean, it's reasonable. Yeah? Not because they vote for government expecting change, they're going to do it overnight. Changes take a while. And then somebody changes, they might have to implement. People mightn't like it. But somewhere or the other, they have to implement the change. Because I was listening to one caller was talking about the CPEP holder, what they do to the CPEP people, and some of them who had contract renewed for 3 days before election, and the reason why they had also denied them contract, and it's because of election people in the air. All these things, you will expect that. Right? You would expect them changes to take place because they know that the reason why the PNM are doing this thing. So they have to give them a little time to clean up. You understand? Now, one of the reasons why people will be suffering in this country, because a lot of people, I am saying no, specifying a nobody, I'm saying a lot of people, what they do, the PNM with the government was like a kind of handout kind of thing about it, depending on handout and when the government provide for them 10 days, you are happy. Construction and thing. But them days and them we phasing out, but it's a new phase coming in now. You understand? And them things what the people expecting from the government. It's hard because it's not a new project, right? The country has no set of income coming in to say that they're selling and they're getting generating revenue to run the country. So all that would take some while to push out, to clean up, to put into place and people have the patience for that way. You understand? And then another thing I was hearing about the changing people and moving people. Well, every party. Excuse me, I gotta call back on it. Somebody by the gate, right? I gotta call back. I gotta see who it is.
Go ahead, caller.
Andy, morning.
Morning.
Listen, I call tell all the callers, all you get Andy a chance. Leave my friend alone, eh? Give him a chance this morning. Let him breathe. What happened to Andy? I feel like it's looking like he ain't feeling good. What's going on?
I ain't feeling good, but we going good, man. Program going nice. People don't understand
nice. And I want to say to Miss Santa Cruz, I certainly and 100% loved your contribution this morning. And I was about Mr. Tanapuna being a grown man, and we're not supposed to be doing this. And I will also say I was very pleased that Mr. Tanapuna called in and apologized. He did, right?
Yeah, he did.
Right, and that was very nice and mature of him. And these are the things that will keep the program going. And once everybody on the same level and understanding, things are going to be nice. But I just want to say, Andy, you remember, I'm going to give you a little joke quick. You remember the PNM man who had his car parked in Port of Spain or something, and they take one full of garbage and throw it in the vehicle?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I know somebody now showing me that video again, and I had to laugh. I said I had to call and give you that joke again. So I just called.
Send the video for me. I want to point out where people will get to see that video in truth.
Actually,
I think he can't have PNM on it, and boy, it's only rubbish. The full of the car.
Okay, listen, yeah. But I have to call the person who showed me the video because they show me from their phone, so I asked them to send me it.
All right.
Yeah, I was telling about the WhatsApp. But Andy, I just called to say you all have a good day, and I hope you feel better. And Trinidad and Tobago, we will rise. And please give the government a chance. Kingsley, all of you, I understand certain things, how you all are feeling, because you all are seeing Twiggy and Iowa in certain places, and I understand. But at the same time, anti-camps will not leave you all in the wilderness. Give it a chance. The budget is going to read just now, and we're going to move forward from there. The country, they left the country broken. Or they have no idea what these people have done. The PNM has destroyed Trinidad. Anti-camps is putting back the puzzle together. The place is broken. Right? But I understand what all your activists, KFC, all of y'all, how you all feeling. I am not saying no, you all are only human. You all fight all these years, and I understand that. But give it a certain time, and then I can understand you're reacting in a different way. But give it time, let the budget read, and we will move forward from there. Anti-Cam's not going to leave all in the wilderness. She's not like that. Right? So, Andy, you'll have a good day. Blessings, Shreya. I love you guys. Bye.
All right. Thank you very much. Next, say, Andy, ask your friend about Marsha Walker. I not ask. She done already give me the updates, and then Miss Santa Cruz sent me the ultrasound. Marsha Walker is pregnant. Yeah, Marsha Walker pregnant.
Andy,
so she kind of cool.
Andy, of course, we have someone. If you have someone, go ahead. I just want to give some fact check on the whole question of the soldiers having food or complained about food. But go ahead, caller, if he's there.
Go ahead, caller.
Andy, morning.
Good morning to
Andy,
you.
I getting fed up now. It's time that these PNM and them start walking up and down the courthouse, right? With the court closed. They say they have plenty court closed, right? Look at Venta Credit Union situation, yeah? And this, how they call him by this former minister? Cummins. But he had to stop coming, boy, and go, right? And then the next one, boy, me seeing she in the parliament at all, boy, Camille Wigg, with that money she went to deposit in the bank. One more proof they want. You understand? I'll worry with the big set of investigation going on in Europe and them thing, right? Rohan Sinanan with the how you call it, the the thing by K on a day, right? In both. How come PNM like when white man thief their money and build Twin Tower, boy? One the build a Twin Tower in Canada. This one build a tower right in the heart of black man country, boy, down in John Day, boy. Where they get all this money, boy. And what about the merchant bank scandal, boy, with this $2 billion with the young fellas and them, boy. What going on? At least it's time to pull them in the court, boy. Let they get more frustrated. You hear what I'm telling you? Again, fed up, and I want the agriculture minister Ravi Ratiram to investigate something in the Makoya market where they're pocketing the money for the stores and them, the security and the managers and them up there.
All right. Anything else? Anything else you're fed up of?
I'm fed up of Penny.
Penny? All right. Why you fed up of Penny now?
She ain't making sense, Andy. She ain't making sense.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, boy. When that one get... Boy, they better bring back Pandey as the opposition leader, yeah?
Oh Lord. All you. Lennox, you're going there because we have some voice.
Yeah, because that might be a good place to start because it was Penny who said yesterday was an International Literacy Day, so that is why she found herself in a school reading for a particular school in her constituency. But she did use the opportunity to make the statement that the army is getting only spaghetti. Well, I have discovered somewhat about 4 articles relating to that very issue. This one was 8 months ago, so it could not have been during the course of this administration. But anyhow, Defense Force soldiers complain about being fed rice. That's one article. I'm just reading the article. And another one, which would have been in the 20th. This one was on the 20th of December 2018. Dylan was wrong at the time, and listen to it. It says financial constraints affect soldiers' meals. Let me repeat. Financial constraints affect soldiers' meals. It appears that Penny is either on research and has a difficulty in being eclectic, choosing what she has to say and when she says it. Because if she was a part of that, maybe she was an ambassador by then, because Rowley didn't want any part of her and therefore relegated her to some foreign land to, of course, wallow there. And the other one, this one is on the 23rd of March 2018 again. Dylan would have been around then, and he said, of course, soldiers gripe over diet. Diet is food, people. Penny should have known that and therefore not go there and not choose that matter. But since she raised it, we have a duty to, of course, respond. And then, of course, Young is saying this one was on the 20th of December 2018. And Young says, more dollars for soldiers' food, obviously, because there was a concern about food within the ranks of the army at that point in time. I can read a couple of excerpts, but I don't want to do that as yet. So, and then, of course, there's another one that said food budget for Trinidad Army move from a particular point to another one. I have to read that one to see whether or not, because if it moves from a small amount, 20 million to 40 million, most likely that would have been a more sympathetic government that might have been in place. I don't have the year in which it was that article was brought to our attention. Trying to open it up and it's not opening. But during the course of the program, probably before it finishes, we'll see why that article became. Right, yes, I think I have it here now. A budget, yes. A budget for Trinidad and Tobago Army moves it from 27 million to food budget, that is, to 40 million. See Gary Griffith in the picture here. He said, Port of Spain, Trinidad, the Defense Force budget for food has been increased to some 50 million a year. That was showing the fact that, and in spite of that increase, they are still complaining about a mono diet comprising of mainly carbohydrates, because of course, let's face it, spaghetti is about flour and macaroni is about that as well, and some other item, which of course shows that the nutritional ingredients will not be adequate or will not sustain any army. They may suffer from what we saw in Biafra and in other African countries called kwashiorkor, which of course is a nice term to mean pot belly, because of the lack of protein. But these children end up with a pot belly. So I suppose we may well get some pot belly soldiers, but since the 2018 people, and Penny, you ought to have known. Sorry about that. That if you felt you got any political favors there, or any political steam, or any political currency, well, I want to tell you that the currency, minus as it is, has deepened the minusness of the political currency that you believe making that statement will have against the present administration. We have the ground report, and it's only the ground report you will get the truth, and nothing but the truth. Some people complain as to how we do it, but the fact of the matter is the truth will always be the truth. So people, 3 articles are showing where in 2018, when Dylan would have been the Minister of National Security responsible for the army, and there it is, there was the complaint of a mono diet, is a rice or spaghetti. So Penny, look again and try again, but you have floundered on this one again. Go ahead, Andy. When I get silent, you know, what to do, if to or if not to.
Have received multi-million-dollar CPAP contracts. Joshua Simongal investigates.
2 separate companies owned by a current San Fernando City Corporation councillor and a former councillor received CPAP contracts with.
And CNC3 News can reveal that San Fernando City councillors, past and present, have received multi-million-dollar CPAP contracts. Joshua Simongal investigates.
2 separate companies owned by a current San Fernando City Corporation councillor and a former councillor received CPAP contracts worth close to $10 million from 2020, the Guardian Media Investigative Desk can reveal. The first company, Kudos Cleaning Maintenance Company Limited, is owned by PNM's Monrepo Navet councillor Nigel Cotier and a close female relative. Between February 2022 and March 2023, Kudos Cleaning received 2 contracts worth $3.7 million. The first contract was a 1-year agreement from February 2022. The second contract is a 6-year deal signed in March 2023. Cotier was elected as a San Fernando councillor in the 2019 local government elections. He was re-elected in 2023. CNC3 News wrote the Integrity Commission seeking to find out whether Cotier filed Kudos Cleaning in his public life documents. The commission said it could not legally share the information. The Integrity Commission mandates that all public life persons must file income, liabilities, and registrable interests annually. A second company, Marisho Maintenance Limited, was awarded $6.7 million in contracts between March 2020 and 2023. As of 2018, Marisho Maintenance lists its directors as former Marabella West Councillor Jennifer Marisho and her daughter Jamila Marisho St. Hill. Jennifer was a former Southwest Regional Health Authority Director, while Jamila was the PNM's candidate for Marabella West in the 2023 local government elections. The contracts were signed despite the company being struck off from the company registry. When a company is struck off, it can no longer legally engage in business activities, as it ceases to be a legal entity. CNC3 News sought comment from the councillor Cotier and Mayor Robert Paris, but did not get one. Marisho Director Jamila Marisho St. Hill told CNC3 News that she had nothing to say on the issue. Councillor Cotier, however, found time to upload and post a video to his Facebook page. In announcing a full audit of CPAP in early June, Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarath accused the PNM of using CPAP as a means to reward party loyalists. He claims some contractors received as much as $50,000 monthly in management fees. Joshua Simango, CNC3 News.
In response, former CPEP chairman Joel Edwards told CNC3 News that he didn't see any conflict of interest with a sitting councillor getting a contract, telling us, quote, "I never paid attention to the names of the contractors or the owners of the companies. In any event, these contracts would have been awarded before my time at CPEP."
Andy, good morning. Good morning to everybody. Andy, you asked our opinion about what you think about the fishing boats and stuff. Andy, I know the people make a living by that, right? But meanwhile, they could go plant and do something meanwhile. Let me tell you why. It's for their own family, for everybody's safety, and for their lives. Because this nasty drugs that they've been bringing here is killing people and making them get mentally sick, and that's going to end up in a madhouse. It is not good. It's not doing any good for our country and for our people. This is not forever. This is only for a time to get rid of it. And you give the fishermen more fish when they go back to fish, because the fish will have time to multiply when they're not fishing right now. I don't know, it might sound stupid, but that's how I seen it. Saving the lives of the people and bringing back a country to something that, instead of having them people all over the street like zombie off of drugs, like they're killing your children, right? That's what my take on that. Andy, morning everybody. Andy, Camille going to hide. She's going to hide all your money. The man asked him, well, Camille is months coming. It's just election time, you see Camille. She got to hide all her money, so they will find it. She has some of them.
Morning, one report. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, and Mickie K. Andy, what's wrong with these people and them? They expect to see anything? The woman, she have money, she have money to do anything? They have to wait until she call the budget. If a month or 2 weeks after they call the budget, nothing ain't going on, then you could talk. What's wrong with these people and them? They ain't see nothing going on. They ain't hearing nothing going on. They ain't hear what's going on or not. They're trying to clean up the place first before anything go on. Simple as that. Why these people so like that? The only yeah. What's wrong with these people and them? Wait until the people call the budget, and then when they call the budget, then you could know what's going on or what ain't going on. Thank you, Ground Report.
President, good morning. Mickie, Lennox and Andy. Lennox, let me ask you a simple question, a quick one. In Bert mentioning, talking about birthright, and he had to born in Trinidad to do all them thing. Let me ask you one simple question, and I can stand corrected. Where in Bert was born? And his parents and him is from where? Alright, that is one question. We could answer that. His parents and where he was born in Bud. Because he mentioning a lot of things concerning people who had born in Trinidad and all them kind of weedy thing, right? So that is one. And the second thing is that concerning the opposition. Let me tell you something. If I had an opposition, I had a party, NTA, Kela Pandey, and whoever else, whoever party outside there on their own. I would have been running not for the government, I would have run against the opposition, And that would have been my call. Run against the opposition to get into the opposition bench and then deal with, if I had to go after the government. But that is what going on. Them think you can't go UNC now. Don't think about going and run against the UNC for the next 5 years. Run for the opposition and they will get the opportunity to be in the parliament. That was just an observation too. And
good morning, Andy. Good morning, Lennox. Good morning, Mickie.
and to the rest of the followers and listeners of Trinidad and Tobago. Kingsley, I have a bone to pick with you. The way how you're getting on, you is not a UNC activist. You're jumping from one thing to the other, Kingsley. Kingsley, we won the election. It isn't even good 6 months. Kingsley, stop. Stop, because you're fighting for things for yourself. Leave the woman, let she get the budget together. Stop looking at Twiggy. Stop looking at Iowa George. Stop looking at MCW. They have their part to play. You understand? Stop. Kingsley, I campaigned for the UNC in Brooklyn, New York. People stopped buying my juice. When I bought my yellow jersey, people do all kind of things. And I never stopped. You understand? I campaigned for the UNC on the Facebook. People tell me I get $40,000. Where the money? But Kingsley, I am waiting. I am waiting for my prime minister to get herself together, and you ain't doing good. You ain't doing half good. You want to pull down the government, but I would not stand by and let you do it, Kingsley. It's either you're inside or you're outside. Straight as that. This morning again, I don't call in. I'm quite in New York. I don't call him, but this morning they trigger me, Kingsley. Don't trigger me. Don't trigger Mama Juice. Don't trigger Mama Juice. As a UNC to the bone for 37 years now. Don't trigger Mama Juice, Kingsley. It's either you're in or you're out. And this sit down, Lennox, sit down waiting. What happened to you? Activist before. Wait.
Lord. Oh, Lord.
We fought. Yeah, Mama Juice, very serious, boy, Lennox. Mama
Yes,
Juice.
yes. But I want to say what I anticipated and predicted in the article that I saw turned out to be exactly that. There's only a UNC government will increase the food budget of the army from 27 million to 40 million. Remember that point when I was speaking about it, the article was not yet open. And I'm saying that I just want to see if that was within PNM administration. Well, you know when this was 11 years ago. So this would have been when Gary Griffith, I saw his picture, so that attracted my attention. But he was Minister of National Security at the time. Let me repeat. When Gary Griffith was Minister of National Security at the time, the food bill of the army moved from $27 million to $40 million. So he confirmed what I was saying, because I said the only how that can happen is if a caring, people-centered government was in place. Earlier, just now when I was speaking, and now it has manifested itself. So just let me just read about 2 paragraphs so you will confirm what I'm saying. The food budget for Trinidad Army moved from 27 million to $40 million. And of course, there's a picture of Gary Griffith as Minister of National Security. Port of Spain, Trinidad. The Defense Force budget for food has been increased to some 50 million a year. And National Security Minister Gary Griffith yesterday admitted the appetites of the members of the Air Guard were big. Opposition leader, of course, Rowley at the time, opposition leader Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley queried the increase in the food bill for the regiment from 27 million to 40 million. As well an allocation of 10 million a year to feed members of the Air Guard. The issue came up during the Standing Finance Committee of the Parliament's scrutiny of the figures of the national budget, which, with respect to each ministry, at the Parliament sitting yesterday at Tower D International Waterfront, Port of Spain, Centre Port of Spain. Right? The examination of the figures for national security, which was allocated 2.6 billion in the 2025 budget, 2015. Well, I see one and saying two. The 2015 budget. So the UNC was in office at the time. Obviously, Rowley said he was not accusing the officers of having increased appetite, but pointed out the numbers provided by Gary do not make sense. And then, of course, he went on to give some frivolous rationale for his suspicion. But Gary retorted. Let me just paraphrase it by simply saying, well, you know, the army itself, they are resident. It means that they cook their own food, etc., which means that they don't have to hire a restaurant to provide food. Whereas, of course, the Air Guard, they would have to do that because they are not stationed where they are and on call. And that concluded that particular situation. Of course, Gary said ultimately that he will provide Rowley as opposition leader then with the figures of how come. Why are we saying this? Because here it is that Pelgrim Beckles only yesterday was concerned about only spaghetti, and I gave you, of course, 3 articles earlier where in 2018, while the PNM was in government, while she was part of the government, there were complaints about the lack of food or a mono diet, either rice, spaghetti, as the case may be, but not a mix that you would expect active servicemen to be subjected to, for them to perform optimally in the tasks in defending Trinidad and Tobago if that time should come. And whether in peacetime or wartime, they should be fed properly. So, Penelope Beckles, once again, you have failed to convince the population of any argument, another argument that clearly is merely of your own concoction to try to suggest that somehow the present army was being deprived. But I want you to wait for the next budget, the only and first budget of the present administration. The last one was a review, talking about a true budget, and you will really hear what is in store for the army. I suggest that you stay tuned. But what you have said so far and your suggestion does not equate with any logic, common sense, or doesn't have a modicum or morsel of truth in it, as you have tried to suggest it, that this administration is attempting to starve the army and giving them a mono diet, when in fact it was your administration under Rowley and minimally under Young that have been accused and in fact conducted themselves against the army in that way. Yes, my friend, that's it there.
Yeah, but I'll leave this voice note just to complete out what I was saying this morning. All political parties have their loyalists, right? Meaning that they have to come to terms with the party policies and agenda, and they have to work with the party and for the party, whatever they have planned for the country. So you can't have a government going into government, right? Like we say, like the UNC, and govern the country, govern under the PNM appointees. You understand? They will be contrary. They wouldn't want to support the government, so they have to remove them, and they have to put the loyalists, and on the loyalists, and they have to follow what the party want and the policies and so forth. So it's just reasonable to understand that these people and them who was employed under the PNM, when the party come and go, they have to go too, right? And you have to give the new. government, the new regime, the chance, right, to take over and to implement their policy. And the people vote for the policy and they vote for the promises that what the parties say they're going to do. So, and that's how we're going now. All these things take a while now, but it just can't happen overnight because the other party wouldn't want to leave. They will give real trouble. They may put up real resistance and thing. And all that there will be time going and then money spending and so forth. You understand? And the people suffering. But I mean, the politics are playing up. They don't care about the people sometimes in some of the stages. You understand? So they only care about themselves. So that was the closing part of my comment. Maybe next time I'll call and give some more.
Pleasant good morning, Andy, Lennox Smith, and Mickie, Kerr, and Trinidad and Tobago. Lennox Smith, you see the thing I played for you on the program last night where the father was explaining the child about the maths situation. That is the exact same thing I was trying to tell you when they're trying to edify these PNM supporters. They're totally out of it. Right? So you will just regurgitate what it is I'm talking about concerning last night to the people who are listening this morning. Doctor, I'm listening.
Andy, good morning. How are you? Morning to you and Lennox. Andy, that man sound like the bus man. That's the bus man that's saying all those things. The last guy that talk and saying the day with the budget, that is bus man.
Morning, Gong Report. Morning, Andy. Morning, Lennox. Morning to everybody on the live. I agree with what Mr. Tunapuna was saying. We investigating is a good thing, you know. I'm glad we investigating and we finding out who doing the racket and who stealing and we finding out who was the mischief makers. But we had to do something about it. Although we finding out, we had to bring them before the courts. They had to get jailed, they had to get charged. That is what we want happening. We want them to face the blunt of the law. We just don't want to expose them and leave them running around happy now. Yes, we had to pay the penalty for the wrongs that they do. Justice must take its full course. Thank you.
Good morning, Ground Report. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Mickie K. Andy Williams, before I go into my contribution this morning, I want Miss Santa Cruz to stay in her phantasmagorical world, according to Lennox Smith, and believe that the UNC is so perfect that the government can't make any mistakes. My thing is, if the government is at fault in any way, or something is not working as it should, it must be highlighted. Nonetheless, I move on with my contribution. I want to tell Mr. Barry Padarat, I have been traveling around Trinidad and Tobago and I have been making my observations. Tech is not maintaining the street lights and the arms and the clamps that keep them screwed onto the pole. The other day I was walking in a community in San Fernando and I saw a street light. The arm and the clamps were so rusty that it fell off the pole and it was just being suspended by the cord alone. Now if that cord should burst and the street light should fall on top of somebody's head, you could have a massive brain injury taking place. And not just there too, other places too, you're seeing street lights falling off of the pole because the arms, the clamps, the screws are not being maintained. Also when you travel along the Solomon Ochoa Highway and the Uriah Butler Highway, many of the street lights are not working. There's a gap from Shoguanas go straight up to Charlieville there. There's no lights in the night because an excavator did some work and the weight of the excavator damaged the underground line and the lights are not coming on. But in other places too, there are several street lights not working, especially on the highway. And other places along the north-south gap, right? Plenty of the street lights, the glass or the shade is broken and cracked and covered with mold. So when the lights come on, they are very dim. Right? Plenty of the street lights are damaged, and the glass is, and sometimes you actually see the bulbs falling out of the lights because the shade is broken. So I just want Mr. Barry Padara to pay attention to that, please. Also, Ms. Khadija, I mean, there was a video circulating on social media with a drain, I believe, in the community of Pleasantville. It was viral. I saw it on Facebook. It was on Tuesday, right? Because there's no CPEP on URP. The drain along the Shokonia Avenue, the back drain, is covered with grass, rubbish, and debris. And as a result, when the rain falls, the storm water coming out of Pleasantville has nowhere to go. So it backs up and ponds in the drain, comes out, flows across the meadow, and floods onto Shokonia Avenue. And as a result, vehicles, when they're driving through that, when they're driving on Shokonia Avenue, they cannot pass because of the water. A car shut down in the water on Tuesday. So just pay attention to that, please. But don't worry, we have no CPEP on URP. The regional corporation will clean the drain.
Oh boy, Lennox, big words. Man say you get a word from you, eh?
Phantasmagorical, yes, phantasmagorical. Yeah. It's so unbelievable. Yeah. That's what she said. And of course, in this case, he was using it to describe the imperfection or the perfectness of the UNC, according to Ms. Santa Cruz. In this case, was his target. But for someone who seemed to be a recluse in the forest, having regard to his statement about reptiles and insects and trees, find him, of course, making the wrongs in what I consider to be highly urban communities or suburban communities, because he's talking about storm drains and of course was very sarcastic at the end there, saying, well, don't worry, CPEP is around, just suggesting that throwing a punch to make people awake to the fact that CPEP is not around. It's an oxymoron, but we have taken it in stride, and as I said, in the fullness of time, because people like them, they want, of course, to condense, as I say, 9-point-something years into just over 100 days. But try as they may, that is an impossible equation, and it's only a matter of time with human and effort, etc., that things are going to be smoothed out. All the edges will be frizzled out, and smooth sailing will take place. I am suggesting that this government should have a handle on all apparatus of government, at least by the first quarter of next year. I've given up on this year already, having regard to so many other, should I say, boards to be appointed. And then you will have to, of course, give a preliminary evaluation as to the performance of these persons inside of it. You know, the PNM didn't care, and they actually institutionalized mediocrity. They put people on 3 and 4 boards merely for them to augment their pockets, but really and truly in terms of efficacy and effectiveness. We have seen, of course, the tragic situation with that oil company that the husband of the former speaker was in charge of, and then he still had a stint at, I think, HGC and other places, merely to, of course, as a revenue gathering entity, but in terms of their qualification and their effectiveness, clearly one man can be stretched that thin and be effective as far as delivering to the people is concerned. And thus, of course, it brings me back to that argument that if you put your people in place, as far as the political appointed positions and offices are concerned, then the next tranche or the next mission of the institutions that now have all of the political appointees' positions filled is delivery to the people, all of the people. Let me repeat, all of the people and not some. And thus, of course, the term when the UNC wins, everybody wins.
Oh, Lord. Boy, if it is, I believe this program are playing people living long too, you know. You had to laugh and think, you know. What? May feeling too good now, boy? But that one, boy, I don't know. Morning, caller, morning.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He probably like salt.
The man watching the overhead wires, lines, he watching all it needs street lights on the highways.
And it could, is it on a bus ride? I suppose probably the bus was stuck in traffic for that to happen. But I doubt it. Moving according to the speed that is permissible. If you could see all that.
And Hoodie ain't like nothing better. Hoodie say, yes, block boss, man. Continue bringing the issues. Go ahead, caller, go ahead.
Diego Martin inside.
Yeah.
It's amazing how supporters of the PNM has opened their eyes to see how the PNM has left this country. Eh? Every issue has been raised into all the dailies, everything, all the talk shows. They hear the PNM supporters complaining how bad state we are in. But more importantly, I want to talk about penniless, senseless opposition leader and her utterances about the army not getting proper nourishing food. I want to ask her, does she remember a former questionable president who ran away from governing this country by the name of Paula May Weeks during December 2018, when the then Smallpin was the Minister of National Security? She raised the issue on a national newspaper. It is the Newsday, that the army officers, the defense officers, have complained to her about food. And the then utterances of Smallpin was there was some financial constraints. My problem with penniless and senseless utterances is that the newspaper reporter who questioned her and basically documented her utterance didn't ask her what did the PNM did when the president at that point in time raised the issue. Because when they asked Smallpin about it, he said he wasn't too sure. Now, in 2018, we were, in terms of finances, we were sliding down a slope, and we continue to slide. Hopefully, the new lady in town, the Iron Lady, can reverse the hole that we have to come out that was left by the PNM. So, penny senseless. Go back to 2018, December, Newsday, and hear what the former Paula May Weeks had to say how the PNM were not providing adequate meal for the national security apparatus.
Oh boy. We lost Sede, caller. We lost Sede.
Next caller. Because what he did is confirm what I said in that period there of 2018 earlier with the three articles that I brought up here. So she should have addressed herself before she make those statements. And those kinds of Freudian slip clearly is because it's someone in desperation. You saw it with Rowley. He, of course, made these kinds of statements, and he went to Parliament and with bogus information about some amorphous emails that never existed when the investigation was finally concluded, but 3 years after the damage was already done. I don't know if she believed that she is going to be as fortunate as Rowley. Well, I can tell her the ground report and other medium and media will not allow it.
Go ahead, next caller. Morning. Where are you calling from? Where's your contribution this morning on the ground report?
Well, I from the beach, I call it Wise on the Road. Good morning, Andy, Lennox Smith, Mickie, Kerr. Morning. Whoever did that, who will take him a call over the morning, but I nothing. And Andy, I just make my own juice. Right? So you ever who is Mama Juice, me never see you Mama Juice in no protest in Trinidad here. right? The people have a right not to buy your juice in New York. That will be call all my family, they know Mama Juice. All listening, Geraldine, and Auntie Nola, all in the US, Navini Marine, was in the army, Melissa, all know Mama Juice, stop by Mama Juice, right? Mama Juice, we know what juice in Trinidad, we don't make juice in pipe water, right? We use the still water when we making juice, right? You're fast and out of your place. You know anything about Kingsley? The more protesting that already, and Kingsley up in front, he's sweating. I mean, you may not know what to say at sometimes, but I don't say you could call for respect. Miss Lady, you sit down in Brooklyn and you make whatever watery juice you are there. Watery down with all kind of citrus, acid, all that adding to it. We drink natural juice here. For you to come and ridicule. Why MCW didn't wait? Why MCW didn't wait? Why the Matara didn't wait? You ever see Matara in any protest? But you want to call this morning? You want to call? And I said, Matara can't see what can't see saying? I will judge whenever you know you're having a party, you probably bring your boat to the jetty. The fishermen might live too. Because I said that I don't say I will judge enemy, but the fishermen might live too. And some fishermen, they still going out to fish. They doesn't go out in the deep waters. That's how some of them living. You understand? So when you come now, Mama Juice already through Kingsley, no best friend of mine. By the end of the day, he work hard for the UNC already. What MCW do? Anybody can make I can make people laugh too, you know. What MCW do? And my little niece, Hoity, or you know Hoity is my niece. Hoity get 10,000. That is my niece. That is Joseph's daughter. Right? So when people talking, let them talk whatever they're talking about. Let them express their feelings now. Who is all here? All of us coming along and the activists and when they talk. I waiting. I know my mouth dirty. My mouth dirty, you know. Right? So when I go in the court with Fisher, I don't go in the court with him. What's some more? Let us be. What's some more? Let us be. As an activist, somebody running in. Well, you Mama Juice, you can make juice like my mother. If Miss Lady go say with the water down juice, you shouldn't be going in. You stay in Brooklyn with the water down juice, and you drive several ways as I carry in suitcase. Before the cuss all this morning, I'm going to
Oh, Lord.
Let's continue. And don't forget when only in New York they right by A and A doubles day. Look for Mama Juice, a strong UNC activist. She did leave up there and come one of the protests, you know, she did travel. Yeah, and come one of the pushback in the savannah. That Mama Juice, better known as the Iron Lady. What? So let make some buy Mama Juice juice. Mama Juice is make nice juice. Yes, let me continue. Morning caller. Morning caller.
Right, sorry again to monopolize the station thing. I think I get cut off this. They go Martin in the house.
Go ahead.
My other point there is, yes, something is happening. Anytime you have convulsion in the police service, expect some nefarious sort of activities, right? I suspect some of the officers are clapping back at the direction that the current COP basically moving. He is on board with what Kamala Persad-Bissessar wants to mitigate crime. Now, you have to understand what has happened in the Sawa branch. 20 kilograms has gone missing. And we have to question what was the...
You're real breaking up, boy.
You hear me better now or put the phone closer to me?
Royal breaking up.
And I had to call you back. Because this man who's calling about his driving around about the street poles and the light poles and whoever, and he only now he driving around to see that. Why he didn't do that 9.5 years ago? He didn't see that. And we have some real jokers that's calling, helping out us, make me laugh in the morning. I just enjoy the comic with them. And it's Brian Manning put them street lights when the father was in power. He get that concession to put them artificial street lights that don't work properly. So don't come to blame this government with anything, right? Don't come to blame them. We people smarter than that out here. We know that all we're going on with them.
Morning, Andy. Andy, you should not allow this back and forth cussing on the thing at everybody cussing each other. You should not allow it. Because that is going to be part of your problem too, with licensing. There's not a bacchanal thing. You shouldn't allow it. Have a good day.
Mom, they not cussing, eh? The people and them not cursing. Up to now, nobody in curse. Let me be fair. Right? And not matter how loud. The people send the voice notes. I had to play it. I don't know what they're going to say.
Andy, tell that man from the bottom. Mama Juice is the Brooklyn Iron Woman. Was in every protest. Fly down. And was putting money towards the broadcast. And he tell that man from the bottom. You hear? I used to pick up for him. I used to big him up. You hear? Tell him Mama Juice is the Brooklyn Iron Lady. Who was wrong with Savannah? Who was walking with a stick crawling? You could talk about my juice, boy? Water juice? Oh God, let me not go down that road. Let me not go down that road, son. I've been there in the protest. I fly down for every protest. I fly down for every letter. Ask Lennox. We talking about.
Yes, I could confirm. He may not know, probably, so he's acting out of not being aware. He wouldn't know what we know. And therefore, we can, of course, verify, certify, and bear witness to that fact. So, in that regard, of course, you are on equal level because we expect, of course, all to participate in issues such as this, which he, of course, Anderson himself, have been very actively involved in these outings, if you want to call it that, against the last administration. So,
go ahead, next.
He didn't know, so we now have informed him.
Hello, morning.
We know how to inform him. Right, and go ahead and again to the next caller. Again, nobody not cursing each other. You all know too, this is a part of the program too, where people will disagree, agree to disagree, and will challenge each other. Just like Anderson talk, look, the lady answer back, Lennox confirm. That just how it is. Go ahead, next caller.
Yes, morning. I want to find out something. You selling juice there, or there's only juice? There's serious business going on there.
No. That is that Mama Juice. She just be outside A&A doubles in Brooklyn.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And the woman is a nice juice. Nice juice.
Yeah. We buy already from her. You know something? I want to tell you something, eh? Maduro collect all the guys, 4,000 or 5,000 people, gather them to fight Trinidad, right? And if a real man in Trinidad Kamala could gather all of them and get them in order, get them a shoe and boots and everything, and get them to stand by the border there and let it deal with them fellas out there. But I ain't called for that, but I called this morning anyway. The show going good. People understand the situation.
I like again you laugh because it started with juice.
And the boss man now, he's the next man. They could put him on the border to see what's going on, what boat coming and what boat come going back. I enjoying your show this morning. Really enjoying your show. I have nothing to say about that. I watch these fellas, they're good at spying. You could put the boss man there, he see what by boss, he could see what boat coming, he could know everything and reply back to the government in Trinidad. But anyhow, things going good. God bless Trinidad every day, and I waiting to see if everything will work out how we really want it to work. But Trinidad have a lot of people still waiting to hear what's going on with this Venezuela and Trinidad thing. But in Venezuela, you can't go Venezuela without an ID card. You can't start going in the water to fish in Trinidad now. They might take you. So everybody had to understand that they had to give a chance.
So we could give so we could get back Bossman and what you say?
Yeah, give Bossman a walk. They put a whole bus by the port, by the airport there or somewhere. No, airport, I mean on the beach now.
But the beach side, borders.
Yeah, put it there. You know, because they could cut the wireless system from the bus, you know. So you put a TV so you could call and talk. Yeah, I never see a fella could see so much of defect in a short space of time. Like he doesn't take a bus to go to work, you know. He take a bus to spy, boy. But you know something? It had a fella, right? He had us to leave home early every morning, right? Because when he left home every morning, somebody coming and doing his work there. So he was kind of staying home too late because he'll get caught up. So he just leave the bus and take a bus from Port of Spain and spy right down to Port of Spain, from where he living to Port of Spain and back. Like he have no work, that is his job. To look to see where the pipe bus, the back. But I'm glad for him, he's well done. But we could put him to protect the board.
Yeah,
we could put him to protect the board.
Nice border.
I have nothing to say.
No, but he could be a nice border, man.
He could be the...
What?
But you know, that man will see across Venezuela, and I feel. What's he good?
And Andy, it's 10 o'clock here, Andy. I know you're having fun, and good to see, of course, some of the callers. Yeah, but it's 10 o'clock now.
All right.
Right, people. So we have to go, people, in spite of the fact that you could take on a little more of some of the offerings across the board, but we have to.
Oh Lord, boy, that man go see you. Hey, but you know, we could really.
No, but I think it's a good idea. You know, when you started off, you had lighthouse and you had forts, you know, in the colonial times and so on. He could be a modern combination of all, because clearly he would have had to have the assistance of technology to be able to send the information to us here. So it means that he's a technical man, he's a lighthouse, he is a fort at the same time, and a person who can articulate and send whether coded or non-coded messages to the ground report to report what is happening on the borderline. So I think maybe the next mission we should ask him to treat with is, of course, yes, look at the border across the Gulf.
Yeah,
and see what is
radar, boss radar, man. He go, let me know everything. What boat leave? What leave a 2 engine? What come back with 1? Who had 2 net? Who ain't come back with no net, no engine, nothing? Boy.
And in that way, he didn't have to wait. We didn't have to wait for Trump to tell us. He would have told us that the Americans blow a boat out of the water. Well, go say.
Oh, there we go there. Hey! I love this program, boy. Oh, Lord. Oh, sir. Only tonight, corridor transformation. Yes, Judy Lennox Smith. Yeah. So only until tomorrow morning, please, God. Same time, same place. Well, we are out of here, boy.
Yes, indeed. See you tomorrow, people.
Yes, sir.
Bang, bang, the Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Bang, 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 bang.